Chapter 864. Chapter 864. Acquiring Saber Technique. Since it was an incomplete martial technique, the starting price was not high. However, an average intermediate human level martial technique would be around 8 to 10 million spirit crystals. Of course, this kind of incomplete martial techniques could not be compared with the complete martial techniques. In fact, the price of such incomplete martial techniques was generally lower than that of the complete martial techniques. After all, no one knew the final result of cultivating an incomplete martial technique. Most of these techniques had indescribable ramifications. Although the effect of cultivation could be better than the general martial arts at intermediate human level, it might induce internal injury. For many people, this uncertainty directly led to the low price of such incomplete martial techniques. However, even though there might be hidden dangers, the starting price of 5 million spirit crystal was still attractive to a big crowd. Among them was Yi Shiwen. When he heard wood-burning saber technique, Yi Zaiwen's eyes suddenly brightened. He had a great weapon, like Emergent's immortal exterminating saber in his hand. Even if he couldn't wield it completely, the power output was enormous. It was just that Yi Shiwen did not have a powerful saber technique. If it was just an average saber technique, he could utilize the mysterious space to deduce more saber techniques by himself. However, for saber techniques that were not classified in the chart, the result of deducing it via mysterious space would be stuck at the upper limit of elementary human level. Such martial techniques had minimal impact on Yi Zaiwen's hand. He had been looking for an optimum saber technique. This wood-burning saber technique was tailor-made for him. For others, the saber technique might have a big flaw, but it possessed no big deal for Yi Shiwen. With mysterious space, even if there was a flaw, Yi Shiwen could deduce it to perfection. If it were a complete advanced human-level martial technique, 10 million spirit crystals would not be enough to purchase it. By then, the price might directly rise to more than 50 million. It would be challenging to purchase, even with Yi Zaiwen's net worth. 5,500,000. As soon as Yao Qian's voice fell, someone immediately quoted a higher price, which directly raised the price by 500,000 spirit crystals. However, no one in the other private room spoke. Even though wood-burning saber technique was great, it was only intermediate human level due to it being incomplete. It was not practical for many individual cultivators, lone wolf, and even ordinary disciples in a sect despite its outstanding nature. Most of them had even cultivated advanced human level or elite human level martial techniques. Hence, those people did not bother with this intermediate human level martial technique. 6 million. It was Wang Mingyu next to Yi Shiwen. She couldn't help it after seeing such a martial technique. Although it was only at the level of intermediate human level, it was worthy of being garrisoned martial technique for their Wang family. 630 million. Someone soon made a new call. Apparently, many wealthy individual cultivators had taken a fancy to this wood-burning saber technique. 6,400,000. 6,500,000. 7 million. Soon the price had shot up to 7 million. A big crowd decided to give up. If it was a genuine intermediate human-level martial arts, it could go up to 8 million or even 10 million. Many people hesitated with its incomplete nature. This martial technique might have had the power to surpass intermediate human level, but it might also leave behind any fatal flaws. These were hard to predict. It depended on their willingness to gamble. The proud child of the prominent sect would not mind spending some spirit crystals to gamble. For lone wolves and individual cultivators, their cultivation path was challenging, let alone building wealth. They did not want to lose everything they earned with blood and sweat. After hiking up to 7 million, there were a lot fewer people showing signs of interest. 7,300,000. Wang Mingyu gritted her teeth and said. She was also a little nervous. If it exceeded this number, she would not continue to bid. After all, she was not Yi Shiwen, who regarded spending tens of millions of spirit crystals not a big deal. The average Transcendent Realm 5th level expert had at most 10 million spirit crystals. Only Transcendent Realm Elite and those surpassing the Transcendent Realm could spend spirit crystals in quantity more than 10 million. She could bid 7,300,000 with the help of her family, sponsoring 5 million spirit crystals before coming here. Otherwise, she would not even be able to bid this number. Although young experts emerged quickly, their foundations were less reliable than those of the old experts. For example, for those with similar cultivation to Wang Mingyu but were several thousand years old, their net worth would probably be sixfold. No matter wealth, knowledge, or cultivation, it required time to build up. 7,050,000. Soon, someone made another bid and immediately overwhelmed Wang Menjius' offer. Wang Mingyu couldn't help feeling a little disappointed. It was rare to see such martial techniques. Although the wood-burning saber technique was less effective in the Endless Sea region due to its fire attributes, it was still an intermediate human-level martial technique. In typical auctions, this martial technique would be the climax. In this world, martial arts was often more valuable than a piece of martial instrument. Martial instruments could only be used by one person at most, but martial arts could be used for a lineage. For a sect, the most important thing was to have a garrisoned martial technique. Therefore, many people would not easily put out for auction because it had not much benefit unless they couldn't cultivate it. They would choose to put it out for auction, resulting in fewer martial techniques available in the auction. 9 million. Right after Wang Menjius' disappointment, Yi Shiwen suddenly spoke. His words deterred the audience. The price of 9 million was adequate to buy an ordinary intermediate human-level martial technique. The audience was shocked at such a hefty price to purchase a martial technique bearing unknown results. However, after Yi Shiwen called 9 million, no one continued to compete with Yi Shiwen. 9 million was no longer a small amount, but Yi Shiwen didn't care. For the others, it could be their entire net worth. This wood-burning saber technique quickly fell into the hands of Yi Shiwen. A staff member sent it to Yi Zaiwen's hand in the private room. Yi Shiwen also happily paid 9 million spirit crystals and took the wood-burning saber technique. Even so, he still had more than 60 million spirit crystals and a dragon vein in his hand. The Wang family on the side looked at Yi Shiwen in a daze. They found it simply inexplicable. They couldn't believe that Yi Shiwen could have so many spirit crystals. 9 million spirit crystals. Even a veteran Transcendent Realm expert might not necessarily have it. This was equivalent to their net worth. Yi Shiwen was a half-step Transcendent Realm who accumulated much wealth. What is the origin of this man? Initially, they were just a little curious about Yi Zaiwen's identity. After all, Wang Mingyu invited Yi Shiwen as a guest to help their Wang family win the contest. However, even Wang Mingyu did not know his origin. At this time, seeing him spent a lot of money boldly, it made people more curious about his identity, especially for Wang Mingyu. When Yi Shiwen first appeared, he claimed that he came from the ancient Barrens continent, but not from this Endless Sea region. A series of events later seemed to prove that Yi Shiwen was indeed not a person who originated from this Endless Sea region. Yi Zaiwen's origins might indeed be ancient Barrens. That was a place filled with monstrous genius out of their par. Could Yi Shiwen from a behemoth sect? There was only this possibility, since talents could be inborn, but wealth didn't drop from the sky. Without the support of the behemoth behind it, even a monstrous genius would not have too much wealth. But seeing that he took out 9 million spirit crystals without batting an eye, it was not Yi Zaiwen's limit. Suddenly, the Wang family became curious, though they would not ask so blatantly. Everyone had their secrets, and some questions were better not asked. Yi Shiwen received the jade slip containing wood-burning saber technique. He didn't care less about what others were thinking. Spirit crystals were a strategic resource. However, Yi Shiwen utilized the mysterious space in his cultivation path, utterly different from the norm. For him, the use of those spiritual stones and elixir had a different definition and context. To reach what he had achieved today, he had spent 10 folds of wealth compared to others. Without the support of the mysterious space, Yi Zaiwen's cultivation would not improve so quickly. After such a long time, he had already understood that the glamour of wealth was superficial. Strength and rapid improvement were more practical. If he were killed, having a gold mine was simply giving his enemy more rewards. Even if he only had 10 million spirit crystals, as long as he considered it useful, he dared to spend 9 million to buy it. This was the most significant difference between Yi Shiwen and others. Since Yi Shiwen had no backers, all his resources and wealth were invested in self-improvement. Chapter 865. Chapter 865. Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion Map. This was his advantage. He did not need to concern himself with petty matters. Yi Shiwen would spend his wealth as long as he could improve his strength. For example, his decision to buy Tyrant Body Scripture in the past. He spent everything he had at that time. Tyrant Body Scripture was vital to Yi Shiwen. Without Tyrant Body Scripture, he would have died long ago. Yi Shiwen directly immersed himself in the jade slip and studied the wood-burning saber technique. This saber technique seemed challenging to cultivate. He needed to go through 3 steps: foundation building, chi refinement, and saber manifestation. Each was essential. It would enable him to grasp the 5 elements in one hand. He would be able to manifest a burning saber with fire chi. The 5 elements principles, interpromoting and interregulating, one would apply in the range of 30 meters to 50 meters. Yi Shiwen would be peerless with no one capable of stopping him. It surprised Yi Shiwen. Initially, he thought it was a martial technique with pure fire attributes. A thorough investigation made him realize the martial technique was more than that. It was a martial technique cultivated based on the 5 elements. Interpromoting principle. This was a bit of a surprise. As a matter of fact, it was not easy for a martial technique to achieve the 5 elements. Interpromoting principle. But it also made Yi Shiwen pleasantly surprised. Initially, he thought this martial technique of fire attribute would undoubtedly be suppressed in this endless sea region. However, it was not. According to the 5 elements principle, water breeds wood, while wood breeds fire. In this endless sea region, it would not hinder the wood-burning saber technique, but amplify it. Of course, the premise was that Yi Shiwen had to cultivate the 5 elements principle, interpromoting. This could be achieved when Yi Shiwen cultivated wood-burning saber technique to its peak. At that time, the technique would not be inhibited by mere environment settings. However, ordinary people couldn't cultivate to such a level. Although the average person's 5 elements were roughly balanced, almost no one could achieve the 5 elements' absolute balance. Due to that, they often classified themselves with different attributes. However, it did not mean that they were in a null state in other elements they were not classified. Relatively speaking, that specific element among the 5 tend to be more active, making it more suitable to cultivate martial techniques. Since it was unbalanced, it was naturally impossible to achieve interpromoting and interregulating. The output, in the end, would be significantly reduced, but it could still retain its original might above the sea region. But for Yi Shiwen, this was not a problem. When Star Beast Avatar was overcoming the 5 elements' lightning retribution, previously, the balance between 5 elements was established in the body. With Yi Shiwen absorbing the bloodline power and vital energy of Star Beast Avatar, he would be able to achieve it too. Even water vapor could be transformed into wood power and later on morphed into fire energy. With his unique physique, this wood-burning saber technique grew even more powerful. However, no matter how great wood-burning saber technique was, Yi Shiwen had to wait until the end of this auction before cultivating it. Under the stimulation of the human-level martial technique auctioned, It shaped the entire auction's spirited atmosphere. Everyone began to look forward to it. Although there were no more remarkable martial techniques like the wood-burning saber technique, many items, herbs, martial instruments, and the like were auctioned at a high price. Wang Mingyu also spent 1 million auctioning a herbal medicine that could nurture her cultivation. After Yi Shiwen got the wood-burning saber technique, he didn't participate in the auction anymore. Most people probably thought he was penniless. After all, the 9 million just now surprised many individual cultivators, but only he knew whether he was penniless or not. Moreover, he was waiting for what he wanted to appear. He wanted the sea region map of the entire flourished cloud sea region. He didn't know if this item would be auctioned. If not, he would head to the sunny bamboo Chamber of Commerce and ask if there was any sea region map in the flourished cloud sea region. Cruising in this boundless sea region without a sea region map was like a blind man. However, after waiting for several batches, the sea region map still yet to appear. However, something else good appeared. This map encompasses the Holy Realm Dwellers Mansion's surroundings. When we got it, it's a little incomplete, but many locations outside Holy Realm Dwellers Mansion are marked, said Yao Qian slowly. Suddenly, everyone swallowed and looked up. This sea region map was much more attractive than anything else to these warriors. The fundamental reason was that a thorough understanding of Holy Realm Dwellers Mansion was essential to ensure good harvests during Holy Realm Dwellers Mansion opening this time. However, rumors said the Holy Realm Dwellers Mansion was a cave mansion of Holy Realm Dwellers many years ago. It could be considered ancient. Having a map on hand would bear good results for sure. However, we do consider everyone's needs. Hence, we have made 10 copies of this map. We will sell them one by one, each with a price of 10 million crystals, said Yao Qian. Everyone was a little displeased. They naturally knew that once the starting price was set at 10 million spirit crystals, it became the arena exclusive for wealthy giants. They wouldn't have a share of it. With no surprises, this map would not be circulated around. After all, everyone wanted to reduce competitors. Although these individual cultivators were not very strong, they could still threaten these giants if their numbers were large enough. So the probability of them teaming up was high. Those who could obtain it were also readying up to win this map. 1.5 million. Yi Shiwen immediately called as soon as Yao Qian stopped. Suddenly, it attracted the attention of many people. When many people heard Yi Ziwen's voice, they had already guessed it. It should be Yi Shiwen. Although Yi Shiwen had become the limelight, there were not many people batting an eye on Yi Shiwen. Besides, Yi Shiwen had already spent 9 million previously and bought the wood-burning saber technique. It appeared to many people that he would not have too many spirit crystals remaining. Even many people prospected that Yi Shiwen would not have much remained after buying wood-burning saber technique. To everyone's surprise, he would be the first to bid for the map. No way. He isn't a simpleton. Does he have a net worth of more than 20 million? Someone said in disbelief. If it was just a Transcendent Realm veteran, it was not surprising to have such a net worth. However, Yi Shiwen was just a mere half-step Transcendent Realm. How could he have so many spirit crystals? This had already exceeded their imagination. Also, Yi Shiwen was not turned into an idiot by Crown Prince Crocodile previously. Many people dwelled in deep thoughts. Is there something other people don't know about Yi Shiwen? Could it be that the death of Yi Xiangtian has to do with him? When thinking of this, many people were stunned. Before that, almost no one thought Yi Xiangshan's death had something to do with Yi Shiwen. At best, he might know who did it. After all, Yi Xiangtian was also a Transcendent Realm veteran. Since he was a profiteer, everyone heard of him. Not many people would believe that a half-step Transcendent Realm kid could kill him. But now it was different. Yi Shiwen easily took out a net worth of 20 million, which was unusual for a half-step Transcendent Realm expert. This Yi Shiwen was not an ordinary half-step Transcendent Realm expert, which piqued others' interest, especially those vanishing, shadow-poisonous Crocodile Clan experts. Their complexion appeared a little bit livid. They had enough reason to have a suspicion on Yi Shiwen. He did not turn retard under Crown Prince Crocodile's hand. Moreover, he did not beg for mercy or plead his innocence. This was suspicious. Of course, they probably wouldn't have thought that even if Yi Shiwen said he was not the murderer, they would not let Yi Shiwen go. That was the very reason why Yi Shiwen didn't say anything. In reality, it made no difference as well, so Yi Shiwen didn't try to explain it. "This kid is fishy," said Yi Ying coldly. "Then Yi Xiangshan's death must be connected to him. We need to send someone to investigate him. We can't let him run away. Crown Prince Crocodile hasn't come back. We can't act rashly here. Once this kid leaves Sunny Bamboo Island, we need to make him pay. He defies my wishes. He will suffer a terrible death." Yes. Many vanishing, shadow, poisonous crocodile clan experts nodded and said, "By Chin, you should monitor him. Your Jade Shadow Sea Snake clan is the best at tracking, right?" Yi Ying commanded. "Got it." 11,000,000. 11,500,000. 12,000,000. The price of the first sea region map rose wildly with an impressive number. 15,000,000. Yi Shiwen shouted directly. The shocking price immediately stunned everyone, and many people were flabbergasted. Yi Shiwen seemed to intimidate his competitors, and no higher price was called. The first map finally fell into Yi Xiwen's hands as he wished. Almost immediately, a waiter brought the item into Yi Xiwen's private room. One reference from https://en wikipedia.org/wiki/wuxing_ Chinese_philosophy. Hashtag weakening the 5 elements include fire, water, wood, metal, and earth. Chapter 866. Chapter 866. Retribution. Yi Shiwen smiled and accepted the map. Then he happily handed over 15 million spirit crystals. Everyone in the Wang family on the side looked silly. No one thought that Yi Shiwen was a money tyrant. This is the money tyrant, a superb tyrant that is beyond our Wang family master. We can't spend 20 million spirit crystals without batting an eye. Most importantly, it wasn't Yi Xiwen's bottom line yet. He didn't seem to have any bottom line at all. No matter how many spirit crystals it was, he could withdraw it unfazed. A tyrant who threw money like dirt. Many warriors coveted Yi Shiwen and wanted to rob him clean later on. After all, compared to those giants, Yi Shiwen was not only weak, but most importantly, he had enough wealth to make everyone jealous. However, everyone in the Wang family was quite pleased. After all, the map was not only useful to Yi Shiwen, but it gave benefits to them. After all, the Wang family would go along with Yi Shiwen. Wang Mingyu looked at Yi Shiwen and said nothing in the end. She would never get to see the bottom line of this man. Every time she felt Yi Shiwen was at his limit, he would be able to resolve it easily. It was like Doraemon's pocket one. She would never have a way to guess what was the next thing awaiting. Yi Shiwen was still immersed in joy. He didn't realize what everyone was thinking. Even if he was taken as a fool, he was not displeased at all. Those who take him as a fool would deeply regret it later on. The wood-burning saber technique cost 9 million spirit crystals. After completing it via the mysterious space, its value would soar more than 50 million. Although the process would consume a lot of spirit crystals, it was still worth the value. Those who thought Yi Shiwen had suffered a significant loss would not know that. In actual fact, this was a worthwhile investment. During ordinary times, it would be impossible to purchase an advanced human-level martial technique. Even if it were available for sales, the price would bring Yi Shiwen into bankruptcy. Yi Shiwen was quite satisfied with buying it at the price 1/5 of its actual value. On that sea region map, Yi Shiwen directly called 15 million yuan, which seemed to be a stupid approach. After all, the bidding price was only 12 million at the time. After all, spirit crystals don't drop from the sky. But in fact, for Yi Shiwen, he felt it was a wise move. The auction for the first map would be less competitive. For those who were interested in maps, there were 9 more of them. Therefore, the farther the auction progressed, the higher the price would be. Bidding it by that time not only took time and effort, but the price would soar to an incredible height. Sure enough, as Yi Shiwen had imagined, the second copy's price competition became more intense after Yi Shiwen took the first map. Although no one spent a lot of money like Yi Shiwen, the second copy's price was higher than the first map by 1 million. It reached 16 million and fell into the hands of the Scarlet Thunder Gang. It was Scarlet Thunder Immortal that joined the bid. However, the price of the third and fourth shares did not drop. Instead, they were bought at the price of 18 million and 19 million. The fifth copy afterwards soared to 2 million. The prices of the next few copies kept hitting new heights. The last one was at the highest price, reaching 26 million, 11 million higher than Yi Ziwen's copy. Many people could not help but admire Yi Shiwen. Before that, many people laughed at Yi Shiwen secretly, thinking that he was a fool. What happened in reality was a slap. Yi Shiwen was not a fool, but the one got the most advantage, acquiring the map at the lowest price. On the other hand, Yi Shiwen admired the Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce's plan. Since it was divided into 10 copies, each copy's price was reduced by a significant margin. However, the profit added up to more than 200 million spirit crystals. Their gain went further than the price of a single sale. Moreover, many forces have gotten the maps they want. The Chamber of Commerce did not offend them. As for those individual cultivators, they would less likely put their blame on the Sunny Bamboo Chamber of Commerce. It was a brilliant plan. But then, Yi Shiwen did not see anything else that would excite him. Although there was also a great martial instrument, he couldn't be interested in it. Yi Ing bid it at the price of 25 million spirit crystals. The auction ended very soon. There was nothing that attracted Yi Shiwen. It was true as the rumors said. The Chamber of Commerce auctioned items found in Immortal's mansion. They were items that individual cultivators or lone warriors obtained in Immortal's mansion while they didn't need them. Apart from a few items, there was nothing excellent and eye-catching for Yi Shiwen. After all, if there were great things, they would have kept them. Even that was the case, Yi Shiwen had received a wood-burning saber technique and a map. After leaving the auction room, Yi Shiwen separated from the Long family. First, it was because the auction was over, but the opening of the Immortal's mansion would take some time. Yi Shiwen could only wait. On the other hand, he had some private matters. The Wang family could not follow Yi Shiwen all the time. Again, it was because Yi Shiwen noticed that a lot of eyes were on him. Yi Shiwen, there are a lot of eyes on you. You have to be careful, said Yi Mo. Yi Shiwen nodded. Initially, only vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clans members were watching him. His spending at the auction attracted many people coveting him. To them, killing Yi Shiwen was no doubt an opportunity to get rich overnight. If Yi Shiwen were a disciple of a powerful force, they would forget it. Contrary to that, Yi Shiwen was a lone wolf without much influence. It was akin to a kid walking around the streets with gold bars in his hand. This was the best target. Many people had bad intentions. Yi Shiwen could sense it too. Yi Shiwen just sneered. If they think him a weakling, then they are wrong. That will delay your progress. You should improve your cultivation as soon as possible instead of hunting them down. After attaining Transcendent Realm 1st level, you can even defeat Transcendent Realm 4th level warriors. Those who covet you are courting death. Sneered Yi Mo. Yi Shiwen nodded. This was indeed the case. It didn't matter what the others thought. Great strength defeats all conspiracies. Thinking of this, Yi Shiwen separated from the Wang family directly and made an appointment with them. If Immortal's mansion had opened and he had not returned, then they should head into Immortal's mansion first and wait until he returned. When Yi Shiwen re-encountered them, they would naturally party up. Everyone in the Wang family was a little depressed about this. After all, without Yi Shiwen, their safety would undoubtedly diminish a lot. There was no other way. Evidently, Yi Shiwen had other matters to deal with. Wang Menjius' words made them have nothing to say. No matter how strong Brother Yi is, it has nothing to do with us. After all, we are separate entities. Everyone in the Wang family finally woke up. In any case, there was a gap between Yi Shiwen and the Wang family. If the Wang family wanted to cultivate and grow, they had to rely on themselves. But Yi Shiwen also promised to come back as soon as possible, if he could still catch up by that time. After parting from the Wang family, Yi Shiwen went straight out of the city and cruised the sea. At this time, he could feel that there were more than a dozen figures directly chasing up. Although they were from different directions, Yi Shiwen could be sure that these people tailed him for a long time. Among them were people Yi Shiwen familiar with, Bai Chen from Jade Shadow Sea Snake Clan, an elder from Scarlet Thunder Gang, etc. These were all Transcendent Realm 4th level experts and 5th level experts. Yi Shiwen was amused with the fact that these figures were utilized to deal with a half-step Transcendent Realm. When did I, the little half-step Transcendent Realm warrior, intimidate so many others? It could be related to my actions at the auction. But Yi Shiwen had no time to continue to entangle with them now. The storm wings behind him unfolded instantly. His figure turned into a stream of light, flying towards the depths of the sea. After spreading the demon wings, Yi Zaiwen's speed accelerated again. It was so fast that it appeared like teleportation. The golden cluster of light was constantly flickering, appearing in a distant place in each flicker. Those tailing Yi Shiwen were utterly dumbfounded, staring blankly at Yi Shiwen. They had lost his trace. They didn't expect that Yi Shiwen could accelerate in this manner. 1https://Doraemon fandom com/wiki/4D_pocket Chapter 867 Chapter 867 Tyrant Body Scripture. Great Mastery, this brat is weird. You have to report to the Crown Prince. We need to mobilize our forces. We must not let him go, said Bai Chen with a stern face. Previously, the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan only suspected that Yi Shiwen might be related to Yi Xiangshen's death. Right now, they were almost certain that Yi Shiwen must be related to Yi Xiangshen's death. Even Bai Chen felt strongly about it too. This was the only explanation. Despite it being a guess, it was enough reason for them to act. Was there a need for evidence? This was a lawless place. After putting Yi Shiwen as a high priority target, even if Yi Shiwen were not the culprit, they would still make it seem so. For them, it was nothing more than taking the life of a peculiar human brat. Nothing big at all. It befitted their so-called doctrine. They would rather burn the whole village down, rather than letting go of the enemy. Since Yi Shiwen had this suspicion, then he was already considered dead. Brat, you're courting death. You dare to offend the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan. It doesn't matter anymore whether you are the culprit or not. Most importantly, if you dare to surface from cowering in the dark, death awaits you. Bai Chen could only return without success. He noticed Yi Zaiwen's speed did not stop accelerating. It had exceeded the range he could perceive. However, since he had spread the news, the entire Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan in the sea region would soon be mobilized. As one of the 3 overlords of the entire flourished Cloud Sea region, once the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan was fully mobilized, it would be a shocking scene. This matter did not just end with escaping from Bai Chen's pursuit. There were still many people who were as depressed as Bai Chen. They all went to hunt Yi Shiwen with different goals, but they failed in the end. They had to come back, dejectedly. If they continued the chase, it would be fruitless. After all, they did not know where Yi Shiwen went. The Scarlet Thunder Gang's elder was confused. How can a half-step Transcendent Realm brat achieve such a feat? Did our young leader predict correctly? Something is amiss in the entire matter. Yi Shiwen accelerated his speed, turning into a stream of light in the sky. Soon he had flown out for millions of miles. After completely throwing those people away, He was finally relieved. If the enemies set an ambush when he was challenging the tribulation, it would pose great danger. Heaven's retribution should not be underestimated. The enemy's presence might raise the difficulty, making lightning retribution even scarier. Worse still, it was still possible for true elites to deal with the retributions while launching offense to Yishuin. They could contend heaven's retribution with martial instruments, giving them chances to kill Yishuin. If their cultivation surpassed Yishuin a lot, killing Yishuin would be a piece of cake. Yishuin came to a vast sea region. It was cloudless with conducive wind speed. He took a deep breath and stopped suppressing the active auras in his body. The auras belonging to half-step transcendent realm late, peak, instantly dispersed. The reaction took place like a hornet's nest getting stabbed. The heavens might flitted in an instant. Above the cloudless blue sky, dark clouds began to gather with storms brewing within. The lightning wreaked havoc in the clouds. It quickly condensed over Yishuin. The mighty heavens might spread across a radius of hundreds of miles. Immediately, many sea creatures fled. No matter whether they were beasts with or without intelligence, they could feel the mighty heavens' might at this moment. Those who were still quite bestial fled even faster. They might not know the reason, but they reacted quickly by instinct. In an instant, there were no beasts nor creatures in Yishuin's surrounding. The vibrant place became dead silent. Yishuin took a deep breath. When the star beast avatar passed the transcendent realm retribution, it was already so terrifying. What's more, he was going through it with his main body, which he believed to be way more robust than his avatar one. Voila! In just a moment, at the moment he started to act, countless lightning fell from the sky. The entire sea region turned into a lightning sea. The terrifying heavens might manifested vividly. Everything was transformed into nothingness in this lightning sea, being eradicated completely. Followed by a heavy downpour, everything was submerged in this lightning sea. The surrounding seawater evaporated in great intensity. The seawater thinned down by a few layers, with the surrounding seawater frantically replenishing it. Each lightning strike bombarded Yishuin would emit strands of cyan smoke from his body. The cyan smoke had enveloped his entire body, making his figure indistinguishable. Any of these lightning could easily strike a half-step transcendent realm expert to death. But nothing happened in the face of Yi Zaiwen's physique. The lightning seemed unable to break Yi Zaiwen's defense at all. But Yishuin knew that this was just the beginning. He activated Tyrant Body Scripture and continuously absorbed the energy imbued within the lightning. Yi Zaiwen's Tyrant Body Scripture, which had been stagnant for a while, finally progressed. It was advancing slowly towards Tyrant Body Scripture 9th level, representing the Great Mastery level. In other words, Tyrant Body Scripture was approaching its peak. With Tyrant Body Scripture alone, he would not lose to other clans or races known for superb physique like Dragon Clan and Titan Clan. As for the Tyrant Body Scripture 10th level, Yishuin felt that his deduction progress would take a very long while. After attaining great perfection, his physical body would surpass Dragon Clan and Titan. Only a few of the royal bloodlines could compete with him. However, the difficulty of achieving that was unimaginable. Even Yishuin had no confidence. It was likely that the Tyrant Body Scripture 9th level was the peak of his Tyrant Body Scripture. After all, physical cultivation was different from power realm cultivation. As long as you understand and become proficient, power realm cultivation would progress. However, physical training was completely different. It required continuous stimulation on the body. Even if you understand how to cultivate, you might not be able to succeed. This was why there were very few tyrannical physique experts. Once they emerged, they would inevitably be an unrivaled existence. Just like Yishuin, it was difficult to meet a proper opponent at the same level because his physical body was strong. Yishuin intended to cultivate Tyrant Body Scripture directly to the 9th level in one shot. If he could cultivate to the 9th level, it would be easier to challenge heaven's retribution. He had a hunch that this heaven's retribution would be challenging. The current appetizer was lightning that could easily strike a half-step, transcendent realm-late expert to death. Those with physical bodies weaker than Yi Shiwen would be smashed into pieces on the spot. Things had seemingly gone with Yi Zaiwen's thoughts. War cry echoed in the sky. The neatly arranged legion composed of heavenly lightning troops appeared unexpectedly in front of Yi Shiwen. Every heavenly lightning troop was at least at half-step transcendent realm-late level. When these heavenly lightning troops all gathered together, they were enough to tremble the world and sweep any force. The legion was mingled with a large number of transcendent realm-level experts. Such a terrifying legion occupied the sky. From a distance, it appeared like a yellow torrent, gushing out violently from the clouds. At the moment this heavenly lightning legion appeared, the lightning all over the sky disappeared. They all morphed into lightning weapons in 18 types, too. It fell from the sky like rain. Yi Shiwen morphed a colossal hand into the sky. He grasped towards the weapons spewed in the sky, turning them into a mass of energy, and he quickly absorbed it. He could sense that once these violent energies entered the body, Tyrant Body Scripture would tame them into usable energy. These energies all surged into the mini-universe in his dantian. He directly met the first requisite for Tyrant Body Scripture ascending to the 9th level without activating Observing Person Scripture. He knew very well that the Tyrant Body Scripture's ascension to the 9th level played a significant role in challenging heaven's retribution. Once he succeeds, his chances in challenging heaven's retribution would soar. Many lightning weapons spew in the sky. However, even if every weapon were bombarded on Yi Zaiwen's body, it would only produce metal clanging sounds and strands of cyan smoke. There was no way to inflict further damage to Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen absorbed the energy little by little. Tyrant Body Scripture, 9th level. Yi Shiwen gave all he got to break through. He activated Tyrant Body Scripture to full potential. Since he was at the peak of Tyrant Body Scripture 8th level, he was approaching ascension already. Right now, it was at the last gap to attain what he wanted. Just a little bit more to step into the Tyrant Body Scripture 9th level. Right now, heaven's retribution provided Yi Shiwen the power to overcome the barrier to the next level. Asterisk crack. Asterisk amid lightning. Yi Zaiwen's bones were vibrating with his muscles, morphing continuously, seemingly ascending in an extreme direction. Tyrant Body Scripture, 9th level. 1. In the Eastern Fantasy storyline, the ascension process becomes more difficult the stronger the challenger is. 2. https://en wikipedia.org/wiki/18_arms_ fellow readers. A new novel is launched. Click here to check it out. Chapter 868. Chapter 868. Transcendent Realm 1st Level Tyrant Body Scripture 9th Level was the very definition of Tyrant Body Scripture's great mastery, signifying its peak state. As for the 10th level, that would be great perfection. It was the perfect state that was even more difficult to achieve. Shattered Star Fist. Yi Shiwen yelled. His fist suddenly blasted out the boundless star power, bombarding the heavenly lightning legion swooping toward him. Immediately, Yi Shiwen extracted the energy imbued within heavenly lightning troops. Boom! 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 One after another, Yi Shiwen absorbed the energy imbued within the heavenly lightning troops as though they were Christmas gifts. Every time he killed a heavenly lightning troops, energies would pour into his body, nurturing the aura within. Even Tyrant Body Scripture 8th level had no way to assimilate the energies in time. The energy level reached a critical point. Boom! Yi Zaiwen's aura rose wildly. A domineering aura swept out in all directions. From a distance, it was like an ancient overlord resurrected. there was a mighty vigor on Yi Zaiwen's slightly thin body. After breaking through to the Tyrant Body Scripture 9th level, Yi Zaiwen's body seemed to have undergone earth-shaking changes. It had become more perfect and more powerful. A majestic force seemed to be contained in it. But at the same time, Yi Shiwen also felt an unprecedented emptiness. Tyrant Body Scripture had consumed all the energy in his body to break through into Tyrant Body Scripture 9th level. At this moment, he felt an unprecedented emptiness despite attaining Tyrant Body Scripture 9th level. Yi Shiwen immediately flew up to the clouds, rushed into the Heavenly Lightning Legion, and continuously blasted them in the air. Many Heavenly Lightning troops were defeated. He absorbed the energy imbued within the Heavenly Lightning troops non-stop. Soon, the energy consumed by the Tyrant Body Scripture was replenished entirely. Asterisk roar. Asterisk Yi Shiwen finally recovered to his peak, even more potent than his peak state previously. The body had undergone earth-shaking changes after attaining the Tyrant Body Scripture 9th level. Even if Yi Shiwen stopped blocking the attacks from these Heavenly Lightning troops, he would still be unharmed. Moreover, the Tyrant Body Scripture would be able to absorb the attacks thoroughly. Hence, he started to infiltrate the Heavenly Lightning Legion without holding back. Each attack of his could defeat several Heavenly Lightning troops at once. This battle lasted for 3 days. It was a tragic battle for both sides. On the one hand, Heavenly Lightning troops had an overwhelming advantage in number. Under the bombardment from Heavenly Lightning troops, Yi Shiwen was like a fallen leaf swept wildly by the wind. But on the other hand, these Heavenly Lightning troops couldn't hurt Yi Shiwen at all. They were continuously beheaded and then converted into energy, making Yi Shiwen stronger. After Tyrant Body Scripture cultivated to 9th level and absorbed enough energy, Yi Shiwen began to cultivate observing person scripture fanatically. The energies rushed into Danshan's inner palace at an intense rate. The mini-universe in Yi Shiwen Dantian was originally a Milky Way. Currently, it appeared as if it was growing into a nebula. Heaven's retribution was a huge opportunity. For 3 days, Yi Shiwen was fighting these Heavenly Lightning troops. Explosions sounded continuously in this sea region. Even those sea beasts that were not within the scope of the retribution cloud were shivering in fear, despite the distancing. Under this mighty heaven's might, these beasts could feel the terror within heaven's might more strongly than human beings. Yi Shiwen had wiped those Heavenly Lightning troops clean, and yet heaven's retribution cloud did not dissipate. On the contrary, it started to get thicker. Yi Shiwen sighed slightly. It all depended on the subsequent retribution to determine his success. Soon, this retribution finally appeared. It was a Heavenly Lightning general who wielded a horizontal saber. A dangerous aura spread out from the Heavenly Lightning general. Yi Shiwen could feel an extremely dangerous aura from the Heavenly Lightning general, an aura that made people frightened. Nay, the Heavenly Lightning general readied his horse as if he had come alive. He began to run rampant towards Yi Shiwen, stomping across the vast sky in gallops. He flickered in each gallop, crossing a distance every time as if he was teleporting. The general rushed to Yi Shiwen in a few flickers. It only took a blink of an eye. Yi Shiwen was shocked. The Heavenly Lightning general instantly slashed the long lightning saber towards Yi Shiwen, who had nothing in his hand. He directly condensed a long sword with his sword will and clashed with it. Boom! The clash from the two sides immediately caused the entire sky to tremble. Yi Shiwen immediately judged that this was a terrifying and robust opponent. If his Tyrant Body Scripture did not break through to the 9th level, the clash would have obliterated him. Even so, Yi Shiwen still felt that his arms were slightly numb. It did not come from the impact, but the paralysis effect from the lightning. Yi Shiwen immediately counterattacked. The long sword in his hand instantly streaked across the vast sky and pierced into the body of the Heavenly Lightning general. But the heavenly lightning general ignored it and slashed his long saber again at Yi Shiwen. Yi Shiwen was surprised, and his figure instantly retreated. The long saber seemed to split the world open. Explosions could be heard from the spot where Yi Shiwen was previously at. Yi Shiwen had a solemn expression. This heavenly lightning general was immortal because it was composed of energy bodies. No damage could be done unto the heavenly lightning general. In other words, this was an opponent who was not afraid of death, which made it a scary one. After all, you could not kill it no matter what you do. This was the most critical element. The heavenly lightning general came with the will of the Heavenway without any extra emotions, but just a fighting machine. In his mind, there was only the consciousness to fight and nothing else. Such a fighting machine was more terrifying than a composed Yi Shiwen. Such an opponent had almost no weaknesses. The heavenly lightning general was an enhanced heavenly lightning troop by many folds. His only weakness was the lack of physical body. This was his biggest weakness. Some people might pay attention to spiritual cultivation, while others might pay attention to other aspects of cultivation. However, no one dared to say that the physical body was not necessary. The cultivation path was like cruising through a vast sea filled with challenges. The physical body was the boat to cruise through the sea. Without the boat, if a person only depended on his swimming, that was no different to courting death. It was simply impossible. Thinking of this, Yi Shiwen had a golden divine light clad on his body, wrapping him up as if he was wearing golden clothing, like a battle god cast in gold. The long sword in his hand instantly became 10 times bigger, and it blasted towards the heavenly lightning general on the spot. Boom! The entire space seemed to have encountered some terrifying collision. With the collision point as the center, spherical energy instantly spread out in all directions. Yi Shiwen could see that the body of the heavenly lightning general had dissipated a little. Although he recovered shortly afterward, Yi Shiwen was overjoyed. He knew that he had indeed found the right direction. This heavenly lightning general had no physical body of its own. The so-called physical body was just the energy of lightning condensed together by the Heavenway. So, since the opponent was unkillable, he could use the most violent method to disperse the energy. As long as the power output was large enough, even the law could be dissipated. The bigger the power, the greater the law contained within. This fight involved contending against the invisible law. Boom! 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 Since Yi Shiwen found a way to deal with his opponent, he changed his approach. He no longer relied on ambush, but sheer close combat. Yi Shiwen slashed his long sword toward his opponent, nonstop. He utilized his energy to dissipate the opponent's body. Even if the opponent recovered quickly every time, Yi Shiwen could feel the law within dissipated bit by bit. After all, although heaven's retribution was horrifying, there were still chances to overcome it. They said man proposes, God disposes, but nothing would be absolute. Yi Shiwen had somehow found a way out of this. This was a battle against endurance. Boom! No one knew how long the battle lasted. Yi Shiwen slashed again with his sword and split the heavenly lightning general into half. The general failed to recover, but turned into a considerable energy body. Yi Shiwen grabbed this energy and absorbed it into his body. All of a sudden, he felt terrifying energy constantly running and circulating in his body. The realm barrier dissipated, just like how the heavenly lightning general disappeared without a trace. His cultivation improved bit by bit smoothly. His vigor was soaring, getting stronger and stronger. Half-step transcendent realm peak. Boom! A majestic aura swept through his body, forming a column of air straight into the sky. Transcendent realm. At last, Yi Shiwen attained the transcendent realm. Yi Shiwen grasped a few times. The before and after of transcendent realm was a completely different concept. It was a life transformation, another level of live form compared to the half-step transcendent realm. He could feel the majestic energy in his body boiling. He could faintly feel the heaven way's existence right beside him. Chapter 869. Chapter 869. Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion opens without ascending to the Transcendent Realm. It was absolutely difficult to experience such a feeling. If the ascension to Sage Realm and Great Sage Realm was a physical transformation, then the ascension to Transcendent Realm was a transformation both physically and spiritually. This kind of transformation gave Yi Xiwen the impulse to roar at the sky. This was a completely different feeling from the time when Star Beast Avatar entered the Transcendent Realm. The reason was that Star Beast itself was already a high level of life form. Hence, entering the Transcendent Realm only brought improvement of strength, not the change of life form level. Yi Xiwen's main body had ascended to the Transcendent Realm, which pushed him to become a higher level life form. For ordinary people, the life form level could only be regarded as average. Therefore, every time a warrior stepped into a new realm, the changes would be great. It would be a brand new feeling. This was the so-called using efforts to curb the inborn restriction, changes oneself to make up for the congenital deficiencies. After passing heaven's retribution, Yi Xiwen finally breathed a sigh of relief. He prepared for this retribution for a long time. He had started the preparation ever since he was still in true martial domain. After several decades, he finally ascended to the Transcendent Realm. All his efforts gained the best return. The retribution is finally over. I should head back now, said Yi Xiwen. He was not sure whether the Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion had opened. Yi Xiwen did not hesitate. Taking advantage of heaven's retribution's remnants and the absence of sea creatures approaching him, he immediately flew towards sunny Bamboo Island. When he returned to sunny Bamboo Island, discussion of Holy Realm Dweller's cave mansion was everywhere at sunny Bamboo Island because the cave related to Holy Realm Dwellers was opened. Countless people were discussing this matter. Many warriors had already rushed to Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion and gained a lot of benefits. Unexpectedly, the Holy Realm Dweller's cave has opened just after a few days, sighed Yi Xiwen. After returning to the inn, he realized that everyone in the Wang family had already left and gone to the legendary Holy Realm Dweller's cave. In that case, Yi Xiwen didn't need to stay. After asking about the entire Holy Realm Dweller's cave location, Yi Xiwen immediately followed the flow of people and headed towards the cave. He just stepped into the Transcendent Realm. Hence, he could not control his strength entirely with auras leaking around him. Who is this person? How arrogant is he? He's just a Transcendent Realm. How dare he be so arrogant? Many people, who were spying on Yi Xiwen, had distanced themselves. They said indignantly, but they only talked about it mockingly like a joke. Soon, Yi Xiwen got so fast that they simply couldn't keep up. However, with Yi Xiwen's emergence, some ill-intentioned figures quickly followed. Brat, you have a map in hand. Yi Xiwen headed towards the Holy Realm Dweller's cave. Before reaching the Holy Realm Dweller's cave, he was stopped. He saw a group consisting of 30 warriors from various forces stopped him. The leader was an old man with a petite figure. He looked at Yi Xiwen maliciously and said, "Hand over the map and we will spare you. Otherwise, since I have waited here for so many days, you will suffer a horrible death. Indeed, you're merely at half-step Transcendent Realm. How dare you compete for the map? You're courting death. Yes, quickly hand over the map and the wood-burning saber technique, including all your wealth. Otherwise, you will never get to leave this place in one piece today. Yeah, we will represent your elders to teach you a lesson. You need to know how to act in society. Don't be too high-profile." As the old man spoke, many warriors in the back all spoke up. Even though they were all from different forces, they were all surprisingly united when facing Yi Xiwen. They urged Yi Xiwen to hand over his possession. As for how they would allocate it, it would be another matter later on. Yi Xiwen sneered. Do they think I am outmatched? An ordinary half-step Transcendent Realm Warrior. Even if Yi Shiwen was just a half-step transcendent realm warrior, they couldn't afford to offend him, much less he had just stepped into the transcendent realm. Yi Shiwen clenched 5 of his fingers into a fist. Within a snap, a terrifying aura surged around him. Everyone's complexion changed suddenly. They didn't expect that Yi Shiwen would dare to resist at this time. It was simply an act of mocking them. If Yi Shiwen was a peerless genius, then they could forget it. To them, Yi Shiwen was just a half-step transcendent realm who were no different from ants. They thought they were kind for not killing him directly. Yi Shiwen was not grateful. The sin is simply unforgivable. This kid even dares to resist. It's simply unforgivable. Damn it, said the petite old man coldly. This kid has become a transcendent realm warrior in a few days. Does he think that he is unrivaled among transcendent realm experts? Ridiculous. If we don't teach him a lesson today, he doesn't know his boundary. Kill him. Don't talk nonsense with him. There is no point to spare his life. Isn't vanishing, shadow, poisonous crocodile clan looking for his whereabouts now? It just happens that we can take his head in exchange for rewards. Someone suggested. Yi Shiwen smiled faintly. You will regret it. Ha ha ha, do you hear that? This kid says I will regret it. What a joke. Do you know who we are? Why could we regret it? You're not worthy enough to make us regret it. At this time a young man mocked. Despite looking young, his actual age should be more than that. Before he could finish his words, he pounced, making a sharp whistling sound in the sky. He appeared in front of Yi Shiwen in an instant, screaming with a grim expression on his face. Kid, I will let you know today that the strength you are proud of is just a joke. Do you think you are qualified to be equal to us by just stepping into the transcendent realm? His fist was wrapped in endless chi as it bombarded downward. It made people think that the entire world would be destroyed under the pressure of his fist. Yi Shiwen finally moved. He spread his palms directly without any extra movement and received the attack. Boom! There was a muffled sound accompanied by boundless energy that burst out instantly. Yi Zaiwen's palm stopped the young man's fist. The punch could not advance even an inch. It was impossible to close in on Yi Shiwen. How is this possible? He widened his eyes and couldn't believe it. It was impossible. He had already entered the transcendent realm 3rd level. The kid in front of him had entered the transcendent realm just recently. How could this be possible? He was helpless in front of this kid. For him, this was totally unreasonable. On the contrary, it should be Yi Shiwen who was utterly helpless in front of him. But now, the situation was completely reversed. Everyone was completely stunned. For a while, the world turned extremely quiet, and only Yi Zaiwen's faint voice was heard. I said it. You will regret it. As soon as Yi Zaiwen's voice could be heard, Yi Shiwen tightened his grip. Crisp sounds of broken bones, followed by. Yi Shiwen broke the young man's fist on the spot. Ah! The young man screamed madly as he retreated. Only fear could be seen in his eyes. He had never thought that things would develop into this situation. He was hardly Yi Zaiwen's opponent at all. He could not even sustain an attack in the face of Yi Shiwen. He couldn't imagine the impossible to happen. But then he was even more horrified to discover that Yi Shiwen approached him almost immediately. He did not know when a long sword appeared in Yi Zaiwen's hand. A gorgeous sword light was drawn across the sky. A bud of blood bloomed directly. There was a conspicuous cut on the young man's neck. Puff! Blood spurted out without an end. The young man's vitality was lost alongside the blood splashes. His body became cold at an unprecedented speed. It fell directly from the sky. You killed him? The leader couldn't take it. It was too inexplicable. Yi Shiwen dared to take the first blood and killed the young man. His heart tightened. Horrors spread from his heart. It seemed to be unbelievable. Don't worry. You will accompany him soon. Yi Shiwen smiled faintly. He only felt that there was a force in his body that needed to be vented. It was bestial. Yi Shiwen was aware that the Star Beast's bloodline power affected him. Star Beast was a beast, after all. Even if it was rational with intelligence, it did not make a difference. A bloodthirsty feeling was boiling within his blood. It was a feeling making Yi Shiwen unable to control himself. But this feeling was not bad. Yi Shiwen didn't want to resist it either. Are you crazy? You want to kill all of us? The old man was still in disbelief. Once others learn your stories, they will know you're a cruel maniac. If we don't unite to get rid of him, he will become a major problem in the world. Chapter 870. Chapter 870. Is this still the power of Transcendent Realm First Level? Yi Shiwen laughed. These people had to find a justifiable reason for interception and killing. Compared with them, Unparalleled Sword and Crown Prince Crocodile were much better. That was the elite's attitude, truly unrestrained and fearless. They were indomitable. Everyone nodded and clamored to punish Yi Shiwen. At this time, they were flustered and scared. Initially, they thought that Yi Shiwen was just a half-step Transcendent Realm warrior. There was no big deal of robbing him. Unexpectedly, the situation had developed into this now. They failed their hunt. Worse still, they had become the prey. They could not accept this happening. Kill him. Then all his wealth belongs to us, said the old man. The eyes of these warriors started to become slightly red. Some of them came for the map, some are here for wood-burning saber technique, and some went for the countless wealth Yi Shiwen possessed. No matter what their goal was, no one would be unwilling to get more wealth. Kill him. If it is not him who dies today, it will be us. Someone among them yelled out. These warriors with bloodshot eyes pounced towards Yi Shiwen. Yi Zaiwen's attitude was evident. They had to kill Yi Shiwen, no matter whether they sought his wealth or their life. The first to rush up was a pair of brothers who have the strength of Transcendent Realm's second-level peak. The two joined forces. Even the typical Transcendent Realm third-level cultivation was not their opponent. Boy, we are glad to take care of your wealth for you. This pair of brothers joined forces, escalating their fist technique wildly. They immediately blocked all Yi Zaiwen's retreat in good tacit understanding. Apparently, they had already joined forces to deal with many top experts before. A monstrous fist almost enveloped Yi Shiwen, making people feel like there was no way to escape. At this time, Yi Shiwen finally moved. Yi Shiwen condensed a long sword with his sword swill and pierced it forward. Puff! Sword will pierced into the fist in an instant. It was like a needle stuck into a balloon and instantly broke their fist. Immediately afterward, Yi Shiwen killed the opponent with his unstoppable sword momentum. Puff! Puff! The long sword in Yi Zaiwen's hand drew a blood opening on their necks. Fresh blood sprayed like a pillar. The two brothers' eyes widened. They didn't expect that Yi Shiwen was so terrifying that they were defeated in an instant despite joining forces. At this time, only regret was left in their hearts. They shouldn't come back from the beginning, but their greed killed them. The old man found it unbelievable. The old man thought that even if the two brothers weren't Yi Zaiwen's opponents, they would be able to stop him at least. As long as he was held back, he would be dead. There were at least dozens of people here, all of whom were masters above Transcendent Realm. No matter how powerful Yi Shiwen was, it would be a dead end if he was slowed down. But this was not the case now. The two brothers who claimed to capable of contending with the Transcendent Realm third-level expert were outmatched. They could not even sustain one move from him. Even when the old man went against them, it was impossible to defeat them with such ease. Horror flashed in his eyes. The old man didn't know that Yi Shiwen had no weaknesses in either strength or speed. Those who were inferior to him would not be able to survive long. Even if Yi Shiwen was entangled, it was impossible to defeat him by sheer numbers. When he was still in Sage Realm Great Perfection, he had a record of slaughtering hundreds of half-step Great Sage. Group besiegement was a weakness for many warriors, but not for Yi Shiwen. Yi Zaiwen's sword technique had no flashy effect. The only thing was that it was fast and accurate. His speed was too fast. For those warriors who were killed, they could only see the sword glimmer. There was no time even to think. By the time they returned to the senses, Yi Shiwen had already slaughtered them. At this time, the entire sea surface dyed with crimson red blood. Corpses were floating around. The robbers were scared. Yi Shiwen was not a human at all, but a god of slaughter. Many people were completely frightened when they saw this scene. They turned around and fled. Although everyone wanted to acquire wealth, they had to be alive to enjoy it. Die. At this time, the petite old man moved. He knew he had to take the lead. Otherwise, morale would be lost. The jet black long sword in his hand streaked across the vast sky instantly. The intimidating sword glimmering had seemingly pierced the entire sky, instantly approaching Yi Zaiwen's face in lightning speed. The petite old man had a sullen smile on his face, as if he could foresee that Yi Shiwen would be pierced on the spot. Although there were many Transcendent Realm 3rd level warriors among the experts, Yi Shiwen, who killed just now, the petite old man was at Transcendent Realm 4th level, which was much more tyrannical than the two brothers just now. Even if the two brothers joined forces, they would not be the opponent of this old man. Just when his long sword almost pierced Yi Zaiwen's face, Yi Shiwen finally moved. Suddenly the long sword in his hand stood up, just enough to stand in front of the thin old man's sword tip. Dang! A crisp but vigorous sound of the metal collision came from the spot where the two swords clashed. A terrifying force emitted from the sword in Yi Zaiwen's hand. Bong! The long black sword in the old man's hand suddenly rang with a bong. A colossal force vibrated out. Although the long sword itself had resolved a considerable part of it, the remaining power made the petite old man's hand numb, as if he could not hold his weapon any longer. Yi Zaiwen's offense was just the beginning. The long sword in his hand moved. The sword flashed and instantly fell from the sky. There was nothing too fancy. It was just a typical slash, but it was unprecedented domineering. It was domineering like an unstoppable and tyrannical lord. Dang! The old man quickly blocked the attack with the long sword in his hand. If it was just a little bit of numbness, then he lost control of his muscle now. The power came crashing down. Only then did he know that Yi Zaiwen's power was so terrifying that it was beyond imagination. Before he could get rid of the paralysis, Yi Zaiwen's second slash was launched. Psung! The old man could not hold his long sword any longer, and it was knocked away directly. Horror painted his face. As a Transcendent Realm 4th level intermediate expert, he had never encountered a Transcendent Realm 1st level kid who could knock away his long sword. Worse still, the ascension was recent. Facing such a Transcendent Realm's newbie, he was beaten without the strength to fight back. It was unprecedented. The first encounter would be the omen of his death. Yi Zaiwen's third slash was impossible to dodge away. It fell off instantly. Puff! Yi Shiwen slashed the Transcendent Realm 4th level expert into half. Crimson red blood shot to the blue sky. The body fell into a daze with his eyes containing disbelief. He was a Transcendent Realm 4th level expert. How could he end up like this? This was simply unreasonable. Run, this is not a human. It's the devil. Someone shouted. The warrior group intending to besiege Yi Shiwen suddenly dispersed. More than 20 warriors instantly fled in all directions. Yi Shiwen crushed their hope. They had no confidence to confront Yi Shiwen. First, Yi Shiwen had an overwhelming victory in the face of the two brothers. He even slashed the Transcendent Realm 4th level old man into half on the spot. It was a terrifying nightmare. They couldn't bear to stay there any longer. They came together temporarily. At this time, it was natural that they would flee once the disaster was imminent. But how could Yi Shiwen let them escape? Since they had all come to besiege him, they need to face their consequences. A fled enemy would be a threatening enemy another day. Yi Shiwen spread his hands. Sword Qi spiraled on the 10 fingertips, followed by a whistling sound. Sword Qi shot to the sky and instantly pursued the fleeing warriors. Puff! 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 Sounds of the sword Qi permeating into the body, accompanied by their screams, spread across the sea. Many warriors who were alerted by this incident were all dumbfounded. They stared dumbly at the fleeing warrior's death. Yi Shiwen wiped out those who wanted to kill him previously with lightning speed. All the people who had besieged Yi Shiwen were all beheaded. There was no slightest hindrance in the whole process. Countless people took a deep breath, looking at Yi Shiwen in disbelief. Is he still a Transcendent Realm 1st level? I think even Transcendent Realm 5th level can't be as scary as him. Someone was wholly dumbfounded and couldn't believe it. Besides, he is cruel and merciless. This person is probably not simple. Who says he is an easy cash cow? He is simply a tiger in disguise. Chapter 871. Chapter 871. Entering the Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion, everyone had their hair stood up, like seeing a certain kind of vicious beast. Indeed, Yi Shiwen felt like a certain kind of ferocious beast just now. It was like a kind of vicious beast in human skin, releasing his emotions and power. Although Yi Shiwen regulated, it was still apparent from the perspective of the observer. Yi Shiwen, did you know that you were affected by the Star Beast's bloodline power just now? Yi Mo's voice appeared in Yi Zaiwen's mind. Yi Shiwen nodded silently. He knew that this pleasure originated from the Star Beast. The vicious beast's blood finally began to affect his spirit and judgment. Yi Shiwen didn't want that to happen too. This situation did not appear on the Star Beast avatar. Star Beast avatar could also cultivate and fight on his own, but to put it bluntly, it was still within the control of his mind clone. It was simply impossible for this mind clone to affect the main body in turn. The situation had changed. The Star Beast bloodline was integrated into his body. These bloodlines were affecting him all the time. Currently, the influence took place. After all, those Star Beasts became vicious creatures due to genetic factors apart from their own choice. Now, these genetic factors started to affect him. Yi Shiwen nodded. He knew well that the Star Beast's bloodline began to be assimilated into this body. An ordinary person would be driven crazy. It was just like how two polar bodies had a conflict with one another. For Yi Shiwen, there was a solution. As long as he wanted, this Star Beast avatar would no longer affect him at all. He could maintain the calmest state of mind with the Mingxin ancient tree, so he didn't care about this matter. On the contrary, this matter might not be a bad thing for him. It helped him relax his heart. Also, the depressed mood after coming to the ancient Barrens continent could be relieved to a certain extent. After beheading these people, Yi Shiwen did not stop. He harvested all the wealth of these people. Yi Shiwen found 20 million spirit crystals, increasing his possession to 65 million spirit crystals now. The Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion of the sunny bamboo island was not far away. Yi Shiwen flew for another 15 minutes before reaching the sky above Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion. Unlike Yi Zaiwen's anticipation, this sea region was boiling, and it started to bubble continuously. Dense water vapor covered the entire sea surface, forming a mist. Yi Shiwen plunged in immediately. He felt that his whole body was about to burn. He quickly protected himself in his aura barrier. Yi Shiwen took out the allegedly incomplete map and found that Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion was not far away. Even without a map, Yi Shiwen could tell because the sea level here had sunk more than 20,000 meters. The entire seabed was visible because of the heat wave. This place was supposedly under the sea. Right now, it was utterly dried with its soil filled with cracks. Yi Shiwen found it merely unrealistic. Due to the temperature, the majority of the sea creatures avoided this region. Not many sea creatures found this place bearable. Although many of the things marked on this map are unreliable, it is still better than nothing. Yi Shiwen memorized all the things on the map and then kept it safely. This was like a barren land. At first glance, at least the ground within 10,000 miles was in the same situation. Yi Shiwen sighed. No matter who owned this cave mansion previously, even if it were not legendary Holy Realm dwellers, it would be a distinguished figure. Just by this mansion alone, people could tell how strong the owner of this mansion was. Yi Shiwen looked into a distance. It was a massive mansion. To be precise, it was a large area. This region was separated from the outside world by a vast array. Before it was opened, it was like an isolated world. However, as the Holy Realm Dweller's mansion was opened, this place became more vibrant. Yi Shiwen walked to the entrance of Holy Realm Dweller's mansion. Layers of mist arrays blocked other paths. Only the entrance was an exception. Yi Shiwen could only start from there. Soon, Yi Shiwen saw an old acquaintance, not far away. It was none other than Scarlet Thunder Immortal alongside some Scarlet Thunder Gang experts and elders. Compared with Wong family's lineup, Scarlet Thunder Gang's lineup was undoubtedly much better. Almost all of them had Transcendent Realm 3rd level cultivation. Scarlet Thunder Immortal and the two elders were in the Transcendent Realm 4th level peak. Each of them was extremely dangerous. They were at a completely different level from the individual cultivators Yi Shiwen encountered previously. The Scarlet Thunder Gang were undoubtedly much more powerful than them. At the same time, Yi Shiwen spotted them. They also spotted Yi Shiwen. Everyone was alerted, especially Yi Shiwen. One of the elders had pursued him previously, but failed. The lineup of Scarlet Thunder Gang was undoubtedly stronger than that of the Wong family. It was a pity that Yi Shiwen, who had now entered the Transcendent Realm, was also different from before. At least compared with a few days ago, he had changed drastically. Yi Shiwen. Scarlet Thunder Immortal frowned. She looked at Yi Shiwen, seemingly chanting the name. All this while this name appeared in her ear repeatedly. She had personally tested Yi Shiwen, but not many results. Even the elders went into pursuit of him, and it was fruitless too. Later on, Crown Prince Crocodile paid a lot of attention to Yi Shiwen. This made her somewhat interested in this person. He is not simple. From the time Crown Prince Crocodile targeted him, she felt that he was not simple. After all, not all half-step Transcendent Realm warriors could stand Crown Prince Crocodile's offense. Some people even believed that he killed Yi Xiangtian. After all, Scarlet Thunder Immortal had also entered the top 100 young experts. This ranking did not seem to be outstanding at first. But in fact, there were so many people in the flourished Cloud Sea region, and it was not an exaggeration to say that there were 10 billion people. Those within the top 100 in this population were distinguished figures. She was also conceited about her strength, but the only thing she was not sure about was Yi Shiwen. She had not been able to see his bottom line. Moreover, his combat power exceeded his realm so much that she could not distinguish what was real. It turns out to be this kid. We let him run away previously. He dares to come back now. He's so bold. Do we hunt him down? A middle-aged man among the two elders said. He was tracking Yi Shiwen previously, but Yi Shiwen ran away. He had bottled up a lot of anger with no place to vent because of this incident. However, he could not do anything since he lost Yi Shiwen. Fortunately, vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile Clan's members also lost track of Yi Shiwen, preventing his reputation from tarnishing. No hurry, we have been delayed for several days now. There is no need to delay this matter. Let's go in first. We decide again after taking a look inside. Scarlet Thunder Immortal did not agree to it, seeing Yi Shiwen capable of fleeing from the Elder. She knew that Yi Zaiwen's movement technique was unusual. Otherwise, he would not be able to do it. If she wanted to catch or even kill Yi Shiwen here, she knew it would be difficult. Even if she succeeded, it would take a long time. After spending such a long time, most of the treasures would be harvested. It would not be something she wanted. Moreover, based on the looming aura in Yi Shiwen, she knew Yi Shiwen had ascended to the transcendent realm. It was quite troublesome back when he was just at half-step transcendent realm. He had an incredible physique and superior movement technique. After entering the transcendent realm, it must be even more challenging to deal with. The real reason was that in this holy realm dweller's mansion, every minute was precious. No one knew when the holy realm dweller's mansion would be closed. Their efforts here would be in vain if others took all the treasures. Compared to this, Yi Shiwen was insignificant. Moreover, she had no reason to kill Yi Shiwen. Of course, if Yi Shiwen hindered her, it would be another matter. Lucky him. The elder glanced bitterly and then followed everyone into the holy realm dweller's mansion. Yi Shiwen, those people may not be friendly to you, sneered Yi Mon. Yi Shiwen nodded. After making sure that they were all in, Yi Shiwen and the group walked towards the entrance. Being unfriendly is not a big deal. As long as they don't mess with us, everything is fine. If they dare to ambush, things will go bitter. Like everyone in Scarlet Thunder Gang. Although Yi Shiwen was not afraid of those Scarlet Thunder Gang members, he didn't want to entangle with them here. Otherwise, if he missed the treasure in Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion, then it would be a hefty price. Yi Shiwen just pretended not to see them. It was only when Yi Shiwen stepped into the Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion that Yi Shiwen felt a monstrous heat wave. In this environment, saber techniques like wood-burning saber technique could exert terrifying power. For the fire-attributed martial artist, it was a natural paradise for cultivation. Chapter 872. Chapter 872. Tianyuan Mirror's ascension, the entire Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion, was like a stove akin to the legendary Mountain of Flames. Looking at it, it was red, like being in a fiery world. As Yi Shiwen went inside, he could feel that the temperature got higher. He had to activate the aura barrier to wrap himself in it. Otherwise, he would still feel discomfort despite his tyrant body. The world here seemed to be in the oven, scorching and red. However, even in such a hot place, life was not extinct. On the contrary, it could be regarded as vibrant. Mountains, peaks, lush forest, and rushing water crisscrossing. It was a strange world. Yi Shiwen, it is optimum to cultivate the wood-burning saber technique here. It will be like the fish in water, one. Said Yi Mo, well, this is a good place, said Yi Shiwen. However, his primary thoughts were not here. He remembered that there were some treasures marked on the map. This map was not secret either. There should be many people rushing to those places. Yi Shiwen was already late. He wouldn't be able to gain anything if he delayed further. Yi Shiwen had just entered the Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion not long before he encountered a surprise attack. Although the temperature here was ridiculously high, there were still beasts who were surviving tenaciously. In his line of sight, there was a red cloud approaching. It came from a distance, like a curtain. Yi Shiwen squinted his eyes. It turned out to be endless scarlet giant mosquitoes, each of which had the size of a fist. The blood-colored long sting on the head could easily pierce the aura barrier of a warrior. This creature was marked on the map, labeled as dangerous. These mosquitoes should be at the Sage Realm level. The young one was just legendary. However, its overwhelming number definitely would put people into despair. Even if a Transcendent Realm 7th level expert was stuck in it, only death awaits. However, Yi Shiwen was unfazed. As long as he didn't completely get stuck in these scarlet giant mosquitoes, it didn't matter. The average person couldn't escape the encirclement, but Yi Shiwen could do it. In a moment, the scarlet giant mosquitoes that occupied the sky approached Yi Shiwen. The loud, buzzing sound obscured all the other sounds in the world, as if there was only this sound in this world. The storm wings behind Yi Shiwen unfolded instantly. He did not dare to underestimate the power of these scarlet giant mosquitoes. Die! Yi Shiwen yelled violently with a stern expression. The long sword in his hand condensed in an instant. The sound of metal clanging was endless. Countless sword auras were crazily split in the sky. piercing through the opponents instantly. This was the burial sword. Although the power was worse than Invincible Sword and Burial Earth Sword, it was effective to fight a large group of enemies, especially against these scarlet giant mosquitoes. All scarlet giant mosquitoes that were swept by the sword light screeched in weird noises. All of them were slashed into a cluster of blood mist, exploding in the air. There was none managed to escape. Yi Shiwen was able to slash hundreds of scarlet giant mosquitoes with one attack. But for the scarlet giant mosquitoes in billions of numbers, it was like a small splash in the sea. One appeared after another once it was eliminated. The sky was quickly filled with countless scarlet giant mosquitoes. Yi Shiwen fought and retreated, keeping his speed up to avoid being surrounded by scarlet giant mosquitoes. He fought in guerrilla tactics, while at the same time activated his wood-burning saber technique. Inside Yi Zaiwen's body, the mysterious space began to gleam with dazzling light. Masses of information began to be analyzed and branded at Yi Zaiwen's soul. Yi Zaiwen's understanding of the wood-burning saber technique was also improving at an unprecedented speed. There were 3 steps of wood-burning saber technique: foundation building, chi refinement, and saber manifestation. Yi Shiwen had accomplished the cultivation of foundation building as soon as he started. The prerequisite was achieving 5 elements, interpromoting. It was still fine, even if there was no balance. But for Yi Shiwen, who had absorbed the Star Beast's blood, it was not a challenge at all. After completing the foundation building process, the following was the chi refinement. Yi Shiwen would need to cultivate the unique energy of the wood-burning saber technique in the body. Yi Shiwen spread out his hands: metal, wood, water, fire, and earth. The power of 5 elements appeared in his hands and extinguished again. Soon, his hands became abnormally red. Seemingly, there was a crackling sound like burning wood. Yi Shiwen condensed his saber aura. While waving the long sword in his hand, he launched sword lights, killing the scarlet giant mosquitoes that flew over. He maintained his speed during the whole process to lure the scarlet giant mosquitoes while not getting surrounded by them. These scarlet giant mosquitoes' shoot distance sprint was rapid, almost in an instant. They could dive hundreds of meters. As long as they were close to a specific range, ordinary people would not escape the mosquitoes' pursuit. However, Yi Zaiwen's short-distance dash was faster than the mosquitoes. He was just like a blob of golden light, killing those mosquitoes one by one to escape their pursuit. As scarlet giant mosquitoes were cut in half and turned into a blood mist, Tianyuan Mirror continuously absorbed them. Yi Shiwen kill more of them. Tianyuan Mirror will soon be ascended to intermediate human level. Yi Mo's voice was faintly excited. Hearing Yi Mo's words, Yi Shiwen immediately became more vigorous to kill the opponent. He could feel that the Tianyuan Mirror in his body had reached a critical point. He was just one step away from the breakthrough. At this time, it was even more impossible to give up. Yi Shiwen maintained his speed as the entire scarlet giant mosquitoes group. He headed straight inside of Holy Realm Dweller's mansion. Many warriors along the way were almost scared to death after witnessing the scene. This is not real, right? Who is this person targeted by the scarlet giant mosquitoes group? He will be dead for sure. They said that the most dangerous thing in this Holy Realm Dweller's mansion is getting targeted by these scarlet giant mosquitoes. Although a single one of them isn't a threat, the huge numbers make them the most dangerous killer. A person couldn't kill those scarlet giant mosquitoes while running away. These warriors ran away madly and did not dare to approach Yi Shiwen for fear of being targeted by this large group of scarlet giant mosquitoes. By that time, it would be their demise. They didn't have Yi Zaiwen's speed, continuously dodging the attacks. Die. Yi Shiwen suddenly made another move, but this time it was not the long sword in his hand, but a burst of fiery saber aura. It was the burning saber aura, which instantly sent the heat wave in the sky. Puff! 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 Countless scarlet giant mosquitoes were cut in half on the spot. Among the bloody clouds, he chopped out space several hundred meters long. The fiery long saber seemed to have evaporated all the water in the scarlet giant mosquitoes instantly, turning them pitch black like coal. Yi Shiwen was overjoyed. He finally wielded this wood-burning saber technique. Although it was only at intermediate human level due to its incomplete state, Yi Shiwen could easily exert the advanced human level's power in this environment. It was no weaker than his shattered star fist. On the contrary, the consumption was much smaller than the shattered star fist in this environment. Yi Shiwen only wielded this technique preliminarily, not even at minor mastery status. However, when he became proficient with the remaining parts and attained the great perfection of wood-burning saber technique to great perfection, he could infer the remaining incomplete parts and restore wood-burning saber technique to the advanced human level. Yi Shiwen slashed the fiery long saber faster and faster. It looked like a blooming, refined flower in the sky. Countless fiery saber aura jetted out from it, and the surrounding air seemed to be burning. The scarlet giant mosquitoes were like a moth battling a fire. They just dived into it. Before they could do anything, they turned into ash already. But for the entire scarlet giant mosquitoes group, this was just a minor part of them. Their way of defeating the enemy was to rely on numbers. They were not a particularly tyrannical group. Yi Shiwen himself didn't know how long he flew forward. He almost devoted himself to the fight with the scarlet giant mosquitoes group. He flew for a long time. Many scarlet giant mosquitoes died under his hands. He didn't count, but it should be at least 10 million. The group of scarlet giant mosquitoes seemed to be irritated. They had never encountered a difficult opponent like Yi Shiwen. Generally speaking, when other warriors or beasts encountered them, there was only one dead end. They either managed to flee or failed their escape. Their blood was all sucked up in the end, turning into a mummy. However, Yi Zaiwen's speed was not slow at all, especially in short distances. He was faster than them in the short-distance dash. The mosquitoes were beaten passively. They could not do anything to Yi Shiwen. Boom! A bloody aura swept out of Yi Zaiwen's body. Tianyuan mirror jumped out of his body. A majestic and powerful aura swept out uncontrollably. Boom! A colossal blood jet blasted out of Tianyuan mirror, fell into the scarlet giant mosquitoes group, and immediately cleared a space several hundred meters in radius. After being promoted to intermediate human level, the Tianyuan mirror's power had doubled. Yi Shiwen laughed loudly. The storm wings behind him accelerated their fan speed. Yi Shiwen quickly turned into streamers, throwing away this endless group of scarlet giant mosquitoes. Tianyuan mirror had successfully ascended. There was no need for him to fight with these scarlet giant mosquitoes. Chapter 873. Chapter 873. Phoenix's flame frui. Although this holy realm dweller's mansion was in the seabed, there were countless beasts. In the following days, Yi Shiwen encountered several batches of beasts, but never encountered a batch like scarlet giant mosquitoes. The beast group was almost peerless. Puff! Yi Shiwen waved a fiery long saber in his hand, beheading a transcendent realm third-level beast. Blood splashed, but the hot temperature quickly evaporated it. In this scorching holy realm dweller's mansion, all the beasts were almost fire-attributed. After all, the holy realm dweller's mansion was the most conducive environment for them. Boom! In the extreme distance, a dazzling red light with majestic vitality rushed straight into the sky, changing the world's color. Yi Shiwen looked at it vigilantly. It's such a powerful fluctuation of vitality. It's either a treasure discovered or that celestial material has matured, ready to be harvested, said Yi Shiwen. When this red light rushed straight into the sky, Yi Shiwen felt the oppressive aura around him. They all headed in that direction. This red light attracted too many people's attention. Everyone's speed soared to their limits. Not only Yi Shiwen realized great treasure might be born. Everyone could feel the opportunity contained in it. Yi Shiwen naturally did not stop, flying directly across the vast sky towards the place where the red light passed. Soon, the red light that caused the commotion of countless warriors disappeared without a trace, but it couldn't stop everyone from moving in that direction. When Yi Shiwen arrived, many people were already there. He was not the first to be there. It was a valley. In the valley, a vast scarlet tree appeared in everyone's eyes. There were 5 scarlet fruits on the big tree, which were the essence of the whole tree. At this time, it seemed to have matured and exuded a seductive fragrance. Around this big tree, there were a few people. They were none other than the Wang family members. Brats, get out of here. This is not a place where you can be. This Phoenix's flame fruit tree is not something you can touch. At this time, a black-robed old man said coldly at the Wang family. He didn't put the Wang family in his eyes and kept his eyes fixed on the fiery red tree. It turns out to be the Phoenix's flame fruit tree. No wonder even old man Een is attracted. According to legend, this Phoenix's flame fruit tree was reborn after being contaminated with Phoenix's Nirvana's flames. If anyone eats this Phoenix's flame fruit, he can ascend his physique to the next level. There's a chance to obtain the Phoenix's immortal physique. He will be hard to kill in the future. This Phoenix's flame fruit tree is so powerful, but unfortunately it will fall into the hands of Old Freak Een. Old Freak Een is too powerful and great at assassination. Even the Transcendent Realm 5th level experts die in his hands. Whispers from the surroundings reached their ears. Everyone coveted the Phoenix's flame fruit tree at this moment, but they were all afraid of Old Freak Een clad in shamanic robes. None dared to act rashly. Everyone in the Wang family had a long face. They were all Transcendent Realm experts, but at this time they were called brat. It was a huge humiliation. Still, they were helpless about it. They heard of Old Freak Een's notoriety. Someone spoke ill of him secretly, but his entire family was slaughtered in the end. A tyrannical veteran expert, let alone their juniors. Even Wang Yanghua felt troubled encountering him. Senior, there are 5 fruits here. Wang family first discovered this Phoenix's flame fruit tree. It should belong to us, but since the senior is also there, we dare not monopolize it. We only need one of them. The other 4 will go to senior. How about it? Wang Mingyu stepped forward and said at this time, "First come, first serve? Is there such a rule? I only know that the bigger fist wins the fight. I want all the 5 fruits here." Old Freak Een sneered. He was sly, and he didn't take Wang Menjius' words to heart. The surrounding warriors all showed a displeased expression. The Phoenix's flame fruit tree was precious. There were a total of only 5 fruits that matured in one bloom. If Old Freak Een wanted to drive away all the young masters of the Wang family, no one would complain. It was always good to have one less competitor. But Old Freak Een intended to monopolize all of it and push away all competitors. They could not accept it, but Old Freak Een was notorious. No one wanted to stand out in resisting him. This is too overbearing. No matter what, we have found it first. How can we left with nothing? At this time, a young expert among the Wang family who had just reached Transcendent Realm, first level, said, dissatisfied. Perhaps he was in the Wang family who was used to being sought after. He dared to voice out his dissatisfaction. As soon as this remark came out, everyone in the Wang family had their face turned bitter, especially Wang Mingyu and Wang Feiyun. Their complexions changed drastically. Compared with the other masters of the Wang family, they both had much more experience. Yi Shiwen watched in secret and shook his head. The Wang family's young master had not encountered many challenges in life. At this time, he dared to argue on the first-come, first-served basis. This rationale could be effective sometimes, but they were too weak. If the Wang family were strong enough, Rather than Old Freak Ian robbing them, they robbed Old Freak Ian instead. Being weak was the greatest sin. A person with extensive experience would never act so. Okay. Old Freak Ian's face changed slightly. He exclaimed, but there was a murderous hint in his gaze. Schwa! Old Freak Ian stomped on his feet. His figure disappeared instantly. When he reappeared, he had already appeared in front of the warrior who spoke up just now. Bang! Old Freak Ian's skinny palm suddenly shot out. The warrior flew out on the spot, spouting blood. Senior, please be merciful and give face to our Wang family, said Wang Mingyu hastily. At this time, her only margin chip was Wang family's reputation. Then Old Freak Ian's face changed slightly and gave a hollow sneer. Do you think the Wang family can scare me off? Despite Old Freak Ian saying this, he didn't continue to chase and beat everyone in the Wang family. Get out before I change my mind, said Old Freak Ian coldly. But he didn't continue to hunt the Wang family down. Although everyone in the Wang family was depressed, they knew that they were not Old Freak Ian's opponent. They quickly retreated with the injured young master. They had discovered the fruits first, but they had to give way to the stronger Old Freak Ian. At this time, everyone in the Wang family found Yi Shiwen in the crowd. They were immediately surprised. Brother Yi. Wang Mingyu hurriedly stepped forward and said, It's great you are fine. We heard that many people are hunting you down afterward, and we are all worried. Yi Shiwen smiled and shook his head. It's okay. They wouldn't be able to chase up to me. Yes, Brother Yes' strength is evident. How can those people catch up with Brother Yi? Said Wang Feiyun with a smile. Seeing Yi Shiwen at this time, there was only endless joy left in his heart, as if he suddenly had support at his back. Initially, after Yi Shiwen left South Bamboo Island, so many people were like beasts that smelled blood. They all chased him out. The Wang family was worried for a while. Only after a while, the news broke out, stating that the pursuit of Yi Shiwen had failed. They seemed to lose Yi Shiwen in the middle of the chase. The Wang family was relieved. In any case, the Wang family and Yi Shiwen still had a lot in common when exploring the Holy Realm Dweller's mansion. You discovered this Phoenix's Flame fruit tree first? Yi Shiwen asked. The Phoenix's Flame fruit tree was also a legendary tree in the outside world. Countless warriors coveted Phoenix's Flame fruit. If there was enough Phoenix's Flame fruit, it was even possible to cultivate into an immortal physique similar to a phoenix. No one does not want it. However, the environment where the Phoenix's Flame fruit tree grows was harsh. It was generally impossible to discover it. Unexpectedly, there was a Phoenix's Flame fruit tree here. Even Yi Shiwen had the intention to snatch the entire Phoenix's Flame fruit tree. What was the big deal with Phoenix's Flame fruit? One could get as much Phoenix's Flame fruit as they wanted, as long as one had a Phoenix's Flame fruit tree. But Yi Shiwen was just thinking about it. It was impossible to achieve because Phoenix's Flame fruit tree was a strange tree that was contaminated with the Phoenix's flames. Every time it bore fruit, it would self-immolate. It would be reborn, transformed into a phoenix and leaves. The tree had to transform 99 times in a row. If the continuous transformation succeeded, Phoenix's Flame fruit tree might truly transform into a phoenix. In the ancient phoenix domain, there was a phoenix that originated from Phoenix's Flame fruit tree. Hence, countless people would think that this was a divine fruit tree. Everyone in the Wang family nodded in embarrassment. In any case, they discovered the Phoenix's Flame fruit tree first, but they had no way to protect it. They could only watch Old Freak Ian occupying the Phoenix's Flame fruit tree. The rage in their heart was evident. At this time, Old Freak Ian was quite proud when he scared away these juniors in the Wang family. Immediately, his gaze was intimidating like thunder. He looked at everyone and said, Anyone else have anything to say? Everyone was silent. All of a sudden, a deep voice emerged. Chapter 874. Chapter 874. Phoenix's Flame Fruit. Count me one. Old Freak Ian. There are 5 Phoenix's Flame Fruits here. Do you want to monopolize it alone? A deep voice came from a distance. A pair of tall brothers stepped forward, wearing leather armor belonging to a sea creature. Isn't that the Tsangnan duo? Someone immediately recognized this pair of brothers. In the nearby sea region, the Tsangnan duo was also famous, not losing to Old Freak Ian. The leader among Tsangnan duo spoke, staring coldly at Old Freak Ian like wolves. Old Freak Ian frowned. He didn't expect it to be the brothers. He was better than either of these two, but he found it tricky to deal with the two simultaneously. Hee brother. This old freak said it correctly too. Why should we share it with others? The fruit here belongs to our 2 brothers. If anyone wants to grab it, we will kill him. Tsangnan duo's younger brother said with a smile. His rugged face had a stubborn look. He had a vast long hammer in his hand. After swinging it twice, the entire air was blasted in an instant. The 2 brothers' terrifying strength could be imagined. You dare to grab things from me. Die, said Old Freak Ian coldly. If the Tsangnan duo shared evenly with him, he found it negotiable. However, the duos dared to monopolize it. It went beyond his limit. Old Freak Ian sneered. His skinny claws suddenly grabbed out. A giant monstrous claw was launched in an instant, streaking across the sky. The air which the claw passed through was cracked. It instantly grabbed the younger brother of the Tsangnan duo. The younger brother of the Tsangnan duo did not want to lose out. He immediately swung the hammer directly and bombarded the claw. Boom! With a loud metal clashing sound, the terrifying force directly set off waves of surging air, which instantly swept out. The Kangnin's duo younger brother took a step back. In the previous contest, he suffered a little loss. He cried out strangely, "Brother, let's work together and kill this old fool." The Tsangnan duo's leader nodded immediately. Mountain-splitting saber appeared in his hand. He slashed it downward. The thick chi instantly cut the entire sky in half, slashing straight towards Old Freak Ian. Tsangnan duo's younger brother immediately dashed forward and swung his hammer. There were no extra fancy moves, but just a head-to-head battle. The 2 brothers cooperated in a unique tacit understanding. Old Freak Ian frowned slightly. The 2 brothers were tricky. The experts whom experts focused on strength found it troublesome to deal with. The Tsangnan duo relied on sheer strength. It was so direct. They had no fanciness to it, but at the same time no weakness too. It was like how Yi Shiwen made a move, carrying the momentum of the thunder. He would push his opponent with no strength to fight back due to the extreme strength and speed. Nevertheless, it was merely tricky. If it was a regular item, so be it. He didn't want to confront these 2 troublesome brothers just for that. However, the Phoenix's Flame Fruit was at stake. If Old Freak Ian missed it, he would not have such a chance in the future. Phoenix's Flame Fruit was the legend to exist only in the ancient Phoenix domain. If he missed it, he would miss it. This Phoenix's Flame Fruit had only 5 fruits. In other words, it had just reached the 5th transformation. It could be considered infancy. Every time the tree transforms, the fruit count would increase by 1 until the last 99 transformations. After that, the tree would truly transform into a phoenix body. After each transformation, the fruits would get better and better. Although this was not the best state of Phoenix's Flame Fruit, it was already a treasure that the folks considered fated. Old Freak Ian made his move with all his strength. His skinny palms turned into ghost claws. He scratched downward with thick black mist rippling from him. Boom! 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 Old Freak Ian and the Tsangnan duo fought fiercely. They seemed evenly matched, making it impossible to judge who would win in the end. The other warriors around were also incited. Their eyes lit up. No one wanted to give up the Phoenix's Flame Fruit. The reason why they still stayed behind was to wait for such an opportunity. The opportunity where the two suffered terribly in the contest would give them an opening to make a move. Boom! After the two sides clashed again, the figures of the three separated. Both sides stared at each other vigilantly. In this continuous fight, there was no victory or defeat between the two of them. It would take a long while to see the winner emerge. At this time, both parties seemed to have noticed that a group of warriors was watching. Well, let's join hands to drive these people away first. As to how we distribute them, that is our own business later. Old Freak Ian rolled his eyes and said he wanted to clear off all the spectators who he thought were unrelated people. In the end, even if he had to fight to the death with these two brothers, at least he wouldn't want these guys to reap the benefit. Most importantly, he could still negotiate with the brothers. He would end up with nothing left. But if these guys were there, it would be completely different. Many warriors immediately averted their gaze. Those who were still looking at the old freak, Ian, had their eyes filled with greed and fear at the same time. It was true that they intended to reap the benefits when there was an opening. However, old freak Ian intended to clear off all competitors. "What's your right to push us off?" Someone shouted, dissatisfied. "TSK, TSK, Big Brother." I think the old man said something reasonable. "These people are annoying. It is better to clear off the competitors first." The younger brother of the Songnan duo sneered as he looked at the warriors around maliciously. Everyone suddenly became nervous. "We don't need to be afraid. They are powerful, but there are only two of them. They can't be the opponents of all of us." A warrior yelled unwillingly. Immediately, a hammer smashed upon him. He was crushed into a pile of mincemeat. "Troublesome. I'm asking you to leave. We can't blame our brothers for the deaths and injuries," said Songnan Duo's younger brother impatiently. Everyone was immediately stunned by his sudden violence. They didn't expect that he would dare to do it this way and be so direct. But when they thought about it, neither of these two parties was good people. Under the Phoenix's flame, Fruit's temptation, they would do anything, let alone murder. "TSK, it's so lively here. How can the Scarlet Thunder Gang miss out?" Suddenly, a little voice came from a distance, only to see Scarlet Thunder Immortal walking in the air. There was another transcendent realm 4th level elder beside her. It was the middle-aged elder who wanted to hunt down Yi Shiwen, but failed. "It's you." Old Freak Ian looked at Scarlet Thunder Immortal. There was a hint of fear in his gaze. Unlike the Wong family, he might restrain himself a little. However, the Scarlet Thunder Gang was a powerful force in this area. In addition to the giant vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan and sea dragon mansion, Scarlet Thunder Gang was a superior force in the nearby sea region. Many strong experts were in them, so he had to be vigilant and careful. Our Scarlet Thunder Gang wants the Phoenix's flame fruit." Scarlet Thunder Immortal said with a smile and a bit coquettishly. Everyone felt her greed was quite heavy. Demon Beast. Wang Mingyu was unsatisfied as always. "If you want Phoenix's flame fruit, you have to ask us, brother, first. This Phoenix's flame fruit belongs to our brother." Compared with the somewhat fearful old freak Ian, the Songnan duo was more fearless. "You dare to fight against our Scarlet Thunder Gang. We will chase you to the end of the world," said the middle-aged elder bitterly. However, his eyes turned to Yi Shiwen among the crowd. He was indignant with his failure in pursuing Yi Shiwen. "Am I afraid of you? What's the big deal other than your death? I can move to other places." The Songnan duo didn't care at all. For wandering warriors, these great forces had deterrence, but it was not absolute. If they were pushed to a tight situation, they would leave. There were no big deals at all. Brother, this girl is not bad. We can grab her." Songnan duo's younger brother laughed lewdly. Scarlet Thunder Immortal frowned slightly. A bit of disgust flashed in his eyes. He hated these two brothers a lot. Anyway, no matter how we distribute the fruits, we must first clean up these irrelevant people. They shall not reap the benefits. Old Freak Ian still did not give up this idea. Everyone's face became uglier. Old Freak Ian and the Songnan duo were challenging for them. Besides, if the two Scarlet Thunder Gang experts joined in, they would not continue to stay. Get out. You will die if you don't leave. Elder Scarlet Thunder Gang looked at everyone with cold eyes and said, everyone was unusually unwilling, but they had no choice but to turn around and leave. If we're fighting for whose fist bigger, then count me in for Phoenix's flame fruit. A clear voice came from the crowd. It was a thin figure none other than Yi Shiwen. Are you so eager to die? The middle-aged elder narrowed his eyes, full of murderous intent. Chapter 875. Chapter 875. Obtaining Phoenix's flame fruit. Everyone was stunned, especially those who hadn't left. They stopped immediately, eager to see what Yi Shiwen wanted to do. Is he courting death? After all, in the eyes of everyone, Yi Shiwen was merely a transcendent realm, first level. His action for wanting a piece of the treasures equated to digging his own grave. Hee, there is another one who is not afraid of death. Songnan duo sneered. They might look barbaric and stubborn, but they were no fool. They were rather shrewd. Being a fool would not allow them to progress this far. It seems that you are courting death. The middle-aged elder threw a sharp glare and instantly pounced on Yi Shiwen. His figure flickered. A long spear appeared in his hand, piercing the vast sky, and approached Yi Shiwen. Due to the high speed, the arm's friction with the air made the arm seem burning, looking like a hot iron rod. Dang! Yi Shiwen condensed a fiery saber aura in his hands and clashed with him. The force directly set off an endless wave of air. The middle-aged elder took 2 steps directly, while Yi Shiwen remained motionless. Based on the physique alone, no one could contend with Yi Shiwen, a monster in human skin. Everyone was a little surprised, especially the old freak Ian and others. Seeing this scene, they found it a little bit unbelievable. This transcendent realm, first level brat made a big talk. Initially, everyone else regarded him as seeking death. However, reality told the story otherwise. He had the strength to back up his participation. Scarlet Thunder Immortal looked at Yi Shiwen vaguely. She thought Yi Zaiwen's physical cultivation was not bad. He could contend against her, who hadn't tried her best at the time, but now the situation had far exceeded her imagination. But at this point, Yi Shiwen had shown enough strength. If these people didn't want to face off indefinitely, they could only agree to Yi Shiwen to join in. In particular, old freak Ian began to feel a little anxious. It didn't take long before more people had joined in. If there were more competitors, his chances would slim down even further. At this time, the others, who just stopped, had to take their leave. No matter whether Yi Shiwen had enough strength or not, it had little to do with them. The malicious gaze of the other people shrouded again. The Wang family got slightly excited. Although they still hadn't obtained Phoenix's flame fruit, Yi Zaiwen's intervention was better than having the fruits taken by these people. Now there are 5 Phoenix's flame fruits here, but we have 6 people. How do you want to divide it? Said Scarlet Thunder Immortal. It's simple. I want 2 of them. Since my friends found these Phoenix's flame fruit first, they have the right to have one. I will have one too. The remaining 3 of you can get exactly 1 each, said Yi Shiwen lightly. Impossible. Old freak Ian retorted first. He had no opinion, with Songnan Duo and Scarlet Thunder Gang having a share each. However, he could not stand it for only having one. He felt he was the one who discovered Phoenix's flame fruit first. As for those people in the Wang family, he had already ignored their existence. He was more legitimate to be the first who discovered the fruit, at least among these people. As for Yi Zaiwen's statement that he would leave one to everyone in the Wang family, he didn't believe this explanation. In his opinion, Yi Shiwen was going to have 2 of the fruits. How could he accept it? TSK, brat. You're small in size, which doesn't fit your big appetite. Sangnan Duo sneered. Us brothers need at least 2 of the fruits. You all will distribute the rest. No, we need at least 2 fruits for the Scarlet Thunder Gang. The middle-aged elder said, seemingly did not want to be outdone. There were 4 forces and 6 people, all of which insisted on having 2 pieces of the share. This was a huge problem, since no one was willing to compromise. Since we can't reach a mutual agreement, it rests on our capabilities. Keep what you can grab, said Yi Shiwen. As soon as Yi Shiwen stopped a sentence, Old Freak Een moved instantly. A figure flickered continually towards the Phoenix's flame fruit tree. Old Freak Een extended his hand, summoning a black mist, taking 5 Phoenix's flame fruit roll away. He left no room for discussions. He might even offend Scarlet Thunder Gang, but the prize of 5 Phoenix's flame fruits sufficed for that. Damn it, leave those Phoenix's flame fruit. Sangnan Duo reacted hastily. He caught up to Old Freak Een in an instant. A massive hammer and a saber fell towards Old Freak Een. The horrible energy set off an endless heat wave. Damn it! Old Freak Een didn't dare to sustain the heavy blow from these 2 men. Otherwise, he might be killed on the spot. Younger brother, go and put away the Phoenix's flame fruit. I'll support you. Sangnan Duo's leader held his mountain-splitting saber. He stared at the crowd with cold eyes. Sangnan Duo's younger brother instantly rushed towards the Phoenix's flame fruit tree, trying to take away all the Phoenix's flame fruit. Almost none of these people were satisfied with getting only 1 or 2. They all wanted to take them all away. Damn it, stop him! Scarlet Thunder Immortal cursed. The middle-aged elder next to her rushed out, confronting Sangnan Duo's leader directly. A long spear in the elder's hands as they both clashed. Scarlet Thunder Immortal morphed a giant hand out of thin air in the sky. It immediately bombarded Sangnan Duo's younger brother. Get off me! Sangnan Duo's younger brother swung out his hammer immediately. The impact was akin to a meteorite crash. The hammer collided with the giant hand fiercely. After setting off countless turbulences in the sky and successfully stopping Scarlet Thunder Immortal, Sangnan Duo's younger brother rushed directly to the Phoenix's flame fruit tree not far away. He was only a few steps away. He would never give up. You have to ask me before taking it. At this time, Old Freak Een snorted. He condensed a giant ghost claw. It grabbed towards Sangnan Duo's younger brother at the same time as Scarlet Thunder Immortal. It was not that he wanted to cooperate with Scarlet Thunder Immortal, but whoever almost obtained the fruit would face a joint attack by these people. Damn you, Old Freak! Don't get in the way! The Sangnan Duo's younger brother yelled. He sped up with his movement technique and grabbed towards the Phoenix's flame fruit tree. Asterisk clang. Asterisk, a deafening clang. A massive sword composed of chi formed in the air, continuously rotating in the sky. Countless spiritual energy condensed, making it bigger and bigger. When Sangnan Duo's second brother grabbed towards the Phoenix's flame fruit tree, a long sword fell all of a sudden. Puff! The sword aura cut down the left arm of Sangnan Duo's younger brother on the spot. The body, superior to metal, appeared too ordinary in front of this terrifying sword aura. It was like cutting through tofu as the left arm got mutilated. Ah! Sangnan Duo's younger brother screamed in agony. He quickly retreated, only to watch his left arm mangled into minced meats in the sword aura. Who? Sangnan Duo's younger brother was frightened. The speed of this sword aura was too fast, almost formed on the spot. If his speed were a little slower, he would be cut in half by that sword aura. At this time, the weakness of his slow speed was utterly exposed. It was not that he was too slow, but that the attack was too fast, making him appear sluggish. Most importantly, he had never seen moves in such speed, yet impactful power. Generally speaking, moves at great speed would significantly reduce the power, and the powerful moves would naturally be slower. Of course, the logic did not go with a slower speed would increase the power output. He who had cultivated his power to the extreme had rarely encountered such an opponent who had suppressed him in all aspects. A cyan figure dashed directly into the crowd. It was Yi Shiwen who made a move. "Damn you, brat!" The Songnan duo's younger brother was depressed and wanted to vomit blood. He thought that he would be able to take Phoenix's flame fruit. By that time, as long as he could escape with his brother, these Phoenix's flame fruits would be theirs. Unexpectedly, Yi Shiwen intervened at this moment, directly making him fall short. His entire arm was cut off, making him a disabled person. Even in the transcendent realm, it was challenging to regrow a severed arm. After all, human clans were not like demon clan. Accompanied by a roar, the hammer in his right hand bombarded Yi Shiwen. Yi Zaiwen's speed was already fast. However, the attack had approached Yi Shiwen. It moved almost instantaneously and appeared in front of Yi Shiwen. Facing the hammer that fell toward him, Yi Shiwen squeezed his 5 fingers into a fist and directly punched upward. The punch was like a star, facing the hammer that fell like a meteor. Boom! Unparalleled shockwaves swept out. A small mushroom cloud rose, setting off an endless heat wave. Amidst the dust and debris flying in the sky, the fanatical Songnan duo's younger brother exhausted all his strength and yet couldn't hurt Yi Shiwen even slight. Boom! With a loud crash, the hammer flew out with a terrifying force on the spot. It spun in the sky and finally crashed on a mountain peak, directly blasting it into a flatland. One could imagine the power of this hammer, but even so, it could not hurt Yi Shiwen. That Songnan duo's younger brother finally had fear crept upon him. His palm was severely mutilated. Since the hammer flew in the distance, it was evident Yi Shiwen had a far superior strength than him. But in the next second, he hardly had time to think about it. A sword light flashed with a splendid bud of blood bloomed on his neck. Blood spurted out on the spot. His body quickly became cold, with his vitality losing in every second. A blood light flashed out of Yi Zaiwen's body. He retrieved the 5 Phoenix's flame fruits instantly. Chapter 876. Chapter 876. Killing the Songnan duo younger brother. The Songnan duo's leader, who was still fighting with the middle-aged elder, suddenly shouted in grief. Their brotherhood went on for thousands of years. Few people could be their opponents when they joined hands. Now that he witnessed Yi Shiwen beheading his brother, the heartache made him go crazy. At this time, he directly abandoned the opponent in front of him and approached Yi Shiwen. The middle-aged elders had no intention of continuing to pester the Songnan duo's leader. Initially, he was trying to delay time for Scarlet Thunder Immortal so that she could stop Songnan duo's younger brother and seize Phoenix's flame fruit. However, that Phoenix's flame fruit had fallen into Yi Zaiwen's hands. Their fights were meaningless. "Brat, you are bold." "Old freak," Ian shouted violently. "If you don't hand it over, only death awaits you." Yi Shiwen dared to occupy the Phoenix's flame fruits alone. In his opinion, it was almost unforgivable. Of course, he would not have thought that he wanted to have Phoenix's flame fruit all by himself. Or, in his opinion, there was no problem with him wanting all Phoenix's flame fruit alone. "Brat, hand over Phoenix's flame fruit. Otherwise, you will be dead today and no one can save you." The middle-aged elder looked at Yi Shiwen viciously and said, even though he had questions about Yi Shiwen killing Songnan duo's younger brother just now, it was just a little surprise. In his view, Yi Shiwen was just lucky in his surprise attack. If it wasn't for the surprise in cutting Songnan duo's younger brother's arm, there was no way Yi Shiwen could smoothly behead Songnan duo's younger brother. If he were to be careful, Yi Shiwen should have no chance at all. Hand it over? Is it possible? Just now we have agreed. It depends on our capability. Since I grabbed it, it's mine, said Yi Shiwen coldly. Since Phoenix's flame fruit was in his hand, how could there be any reason to hand it out? In that case, don't blame us if you die. Old Freak Ian dashed straight up, but he was not the fastest one. There was a figure faster than him. It was the Tsongnan duo's leader who had his younger brother beheaded by Yi Shiwen. At this time, he looked like a madman, holding the mountain-splitting saber. He continuously slashed out a saber aura towards Yi Shiwen. At this time, Scarlet Thunder Immortal and the middle-aged elder finally couldn't help it. They both rushed forward. No matter if they were still in a fight previously, they had the common objective to kill Yi Shiwen and snatch Phoenix's flame fruit from him. Facing the Transcendent Realm 4th level peak experts, Yi Shiwen remained unfazed. However, he must not be surrounded by the 4 Transcendent Realm 4th level peak experts. Otherwise, it would be a severe problem. I need to defeat them one by one. Almost in an instant, Yi Shiwen had already made a judgment. His target was none other than the Tsongnan duo's leader, who went crazy and was determined to kill him. In an instant, a fiery saber aura appeared in Yi Zaiwen's hand, which turned into a vast flame saber. Yi Shiwen slashed it towards Tsongnan duo's leader. In this hot environment, Yi Zaiwen's wood-burning saber technique also seemed to have received a substantial complementary effect. It had a power far surpassing intermediate human level, almost comparable to the advanced human level saber technique. Die! Tsongnan duo's leader roared. His eyes filled with killing intent. He clenched the long saber. Terrifying saber aura instantly blasted out. 2 long sabers met in the sky. The terrifying saber aura swept all over in an instant. Dang! Horrific shock waves swept away in an instant. This was the collision of 2 terrifying powers. Tsongnan duo cultivated the path of vigorous and heavy power. It was overwhelming for the others. In the face of Yi Shiwen, who was more domineering than him, it was not worthy. The terrifying power from the saber caused Tsongnan duo's leader, who leaped over, to stagnate. But at this moment, Yi Shiwen began to counterattack. His speed was faster than Tsongnan duo's leader. In an instant, another saber slash arrived at Tsongnan duo's leader. It was like the legendary Axe 1. Although simple, it was effective. Tsongnan duo's speed was not as fast as Yi Shiwen. At this time, he could barely raise his saber to resist the attack. Boom! Another saber slash directly caused the Tsongnan duo's leader to be knocked away on the spot, like a cannonball. The Tsongnan duo's leader was startled immediately. He never thought that this would happen. He could not even feel the blood dripping from the corner of his mouth. It was the first time that he was smashed into the air with such an overwhelming advantage in strength. The burning fiery long saber in Yi Zaiwen's hand slashed toward him at a terrifying speed. Puff! The saber slashed directly on Tsongnan duo's leader, destroying all the defensive martial instruments on him in an instant. The aura barrier was also dissipated in an instant, making it impossible to withstand a blow. Boom! Tsongnan duo's leader's sturdy body was instantly smashed to the ground, creating a giant crater directly. Yi Shiwen didn't even bat an eye. He directly unleashed a fiery saber aura. Heat waves in the environment amplified this fiery saber aura. It immediately slashed down. Boom! A small mushroom cloud rose from that crater. The terrifying power caused everything in that crater to be eradicated. The Tsongnan duo's leader was slashed into pieces. He was not Yi Zaiwen's opponent at all. Yi Shiwen, you have to be faster. After those people leave, the news of Phoenix's flame fruit will be spread. I'm afraid there will be more powerful experts coming by then, said Yi Mo quickly. Yi Shiwen nodded. He also thought of this. That was why he did not hesitate and went for the kill. Time could not be delayed any longer. For these people alone, he could still handle it. However, once a more powerful expert came, he could only escape into the wildness. He would not have his share on the Phoenix's flame fruit. In a blink of an eye, another Transcendent Realm 4th level peak expert perished in the hands of Yi Xuan. He killed another Transcendent Realm 4th level peak expert within a short period. This scene quickly frightened everyone. Initially, the three felt that Yi Xuan was merely taking advantage of others' weak states or succeeded in abusing others being unprepared. It seemed they were all wrong. Yi Xuan was more than terrifying. It was hard to imagine how Yi Xuan, Transcendent Realm 1st level warrior, could easily kill a Transcendent Realm 4th level peak expert. As a matter of fact, the Transcendent Realm 1st level could only be regarded as the Transcendent Realm's elementary stage. The Transcendent Realm 4th level was the intermediate stage of the Transcendent Realm. The gap between the 3rd and 4th levels was far greater than the 2nd to 3rd levels, let alone the 1st and 4th levels. In their views, the side with an overwhelming advantage should be the 4th level warrior rather than the 1st level warrior. But the current scene completely subverted their original view, which was terrifying. At this time, they were aware that their encounter was dangerous. It was ridiculous how they considered Yi Xuan was just an ordinary Transcendent Realm 1st level, even wanting to eliminate him in the contest. In actual fact, he was the scariest one. They were frightened and did not dare to step forward. But it did not mean that Yi Xuan's battle was over. Yi Xuan approached the middle-aged elder immediately after killing Songnan Duo's leader. This middle-aged elder bore the heaviest killing intent to Yi Xuan. The elder had already tried to kill him 3 times previously, so he absolutely couldn't let the elder survive in this world anymore. You have such a fighting power. All of us made the wrong judgment. So, you have killed Yi Xiangtian of the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan. You are dead. Haha, you are dead. The Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan will never let you go. The middle-aged elder suddenly remembered and said, So what? You must die before me. Yi Xuan did not hesitate or deny the matter because he knew that denial was useless. The Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan already suspected that Yi Xiangtian's death was related to him. Denying it did not stop Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan from wanting him to die. In front of the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan, Yi Xiangtian's opinion seemed to be irrelevant at all. It was meaningless to dispute the truth. As long as they suspected that Yi Xuan was related to the death of Yi Xiangtian, they would never let him go. Boom! Yi Xiangtian's fiery saber aura swooshed down instantly. The middle-aged elder raised his spear to resist. The terrifying spear greeted him. Fiery saber aura broke through the incoming saber aura like cutting through bamboo. At this time, the middle-aged elder finally shared a similar feeling with Songnan Duo's leader just now. Is this kid a monster in human skin? The terrifying force instantly smashed away the long spear in his hand. Even the long spear at elementary human level had cracks appearing on its body. Yi Xuan made another attack. 1. Weapons of a Hero from Another Tale. https://en Wikipedia org/wiki/Chang'andersujin. Chapter 877. Chapter 877. Wild Goose Pecked the Hunter's Eyes. No, you can't kill him. Otherwise, not only the Vanishing Shadow Poisonous Crocodile clan will pursue your life, even our Scarlet Thunder gang will not let you go, shouted Scarlet Thunder Immortal hurriedly. Yi Xiangtian's speed was too fast. Scarlet Thunder Immortal had no time to react. She was too late to go for the rescue, so she could only shout, hoping to make Yi Xuan hesitate. Only then she would be able to save this middle-aged elder. Although there were many experts in Scarlet Thunder Gang, there were not many Transcendent Realm experts. They could not withstand such casualties. Yi Xiangtian's hand that held the long saber did stagnate for a moment, but then he quickly slashed downward firmly. Scarlet Thunder Gang would be a great threat. However, Yi Shiwen already had bad blood with the Vanishing Shadow poisonous crocodile clan anyway. It was not a big deal if Scarlet Thunder Gang was added into the list. Most importantly, he didn't think that this middle-aged elder of Scarlet Thunder Gang would let him go. The 5 phoenixes' flame fruits on him were tempting. Once they learned about it, they would definitely not let them go, so the only way out was to kill them all. Only the dead would keep the secret. You want my mercy? Dream on. Yi Shiwen sneered. Phoenix's flame fruit was not the sole reason the Scarlet Thunder Gang turned hostile to him. Previously, the middle-aged elder wanted to hunt him down. At that time, if Yi Shiwen didn't have the demon wings, he would be catched up. By that time, his half-step transcendent realm late strength was definitely inadequate. He would die in the end. For such an enemy, how could he give mercy? Don't you dare! Scarlet Thunder Immortal shouted, feeling very anxious. She didn't expect Yi Shiwen to be such a fearless fool. After emphasizing the Scarlet Thunder Gang as the backer, the action was not only useless, but on the contrary, it was counterproductive. It made Yi Shiwen more determined in his choice. But thinking about it, only a fearless fool would kill the Vanishing Shadow poisonous crocodile clan member. Does he plan to leave this sea region forever? Yi Shiwen sneered. The fiery long saber was raging. Under the surrounding heat wave's influence, it was surging with power. Boom! The long saber instantly slashed on the middle-aged elder's spear. Although the elder managed to block Yi Shiwen's saber with thunder-like momentum, the impact still bombarded on him through the spear. The middle-aged elder had no way to block it off, even though the force conducted through was merely a fragment. The middle-aged elder had no idea how great Yi Shiwen's strength was. Bang! The middle-aged elder spurted out a mouthful of blood. His body broke apart on the spot, almost disintegrating. Blood spurted like a column. Boom! His body directly slammed into a nearby mountain, blasting a corner off. It was conceivable how terrifying it was. Go, let's kill him together. Otherwise, only death awaits us. At this time, old freak Ian didn't hesitate. He shouted at Scarlet Thunder Immortal. He was also eager for everyone in the Scarlet Thunder Gang to be dead. Only then he could monopolize the treasure. However, he was still well aware that once the Scarlet Thunder Immortal and the middle-aged elder die, then the next person to die would be him. His adventure spanned for thousands of years. He still knew the basics of things. If he didn't join hands at this time, he reaped no benefits. Not only would he be unable to have his hand on Phoenix's flame fruit, but even his life would also be in danger. Scarlet Thunder Immortal only hesitated for a moment and then agreed. There was no other choice at that time. 2 Transcendent Realm 4th level peak experts joined forces to attack Yi Shiwen, but they were still not a big trouble to Yi Shiwen. If the 5 of them struck together, Yi Shiwen would resort to flee. Right now, there were only 2 of them. Even if they were to work together, they lacked the tacit understanding. They were even enemies previously too. They would inevitably be on guard against each other, so Yi Shiwen wasn't worried at all. Want to join hands? Yi Shiwen sneered, spreading his hands with 2 balls of flames on his palms, which instantly evolved into saber aura. It fell towards the 2. Boom! Boom! With 2 terrifying collisions, the fiery long saber blocked the offensive of the 2 experts. Although it was only a moment, it was enough for Yi Shiwen. Taking advantage of this opening, he turned over to chase after the middle-aged elder. Despite the middle-aged elder being severely wounded just now, he, as a Transcendent Realm expert, had superb regeneration. They might have emergency pellets too. If Yi Shiwen slowed down his pursuit, the opponent might recover and launch an attack when he was off guard. At that time, he would have to face 3 people at the same time. It would pose a headache. Miss, run, you are not his opponent. Even if you join forces, it is useless. Notify the leader, summon our gang, and avenge me. You must not let him develop further. Otherwise, it will definitely bring great harm to the Scarlet Thunder Gang. In addition, Tell the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan it was this kid who killed Yi Xiangtian. We need them to take action. Seemingly, the middle-aged elder knew he could not escape as he saw Yi Xuan rushing over. He alerted the miss. His eyes were full of resentment, wishing Yi Zaiwen's demise despite the helpless situation he was in. At the beginning, since he was ordered to intercept Yi Xiwen, this was destined and it could not be changed. The middle-aged elder chanted a scripture. Immediately, countless spiritual energy gathered towards him. His whole body started to turn red with a terrifying and destructive force brewing in his body. No, Yi Xiwen, he wants to self-destruct. We need to stop him quickly. Yi Mo quickly reminded him at this time. Yi Xiwen didn't need Yi Mo to remind him. He knew what the middle-aged elder was going to do. With countless battle experiences, he reacted by instinct. The fiery long saber in his hand manifested in an instant. Another slash was launched. Boom! The whole world was shaken. With the middle-aged elder as the center, the extremely terrifying power swept out like unstoppable sea waves. Numerous places within a dozen miles around were razed to the ground. The horror of a transcendent realm expert's self-destruct was akin to a small nuclear bomb. If it were not for the desperate situation, no transcendent realm expert was willing to self-destruct. Once self-destruct activated, it meant the souls would be gone, with no second chances. But, fortunately, Yi Xiwen rushed over to kill the elder before he completely self-destructed. Otherwise, the power of the explosion would be much more terrifying. Even Yi Xiwen was pushed a few steps away by the terrorizing wave caused by this explosion. At this time, Old Freak Een had already taken advantage of this opening to appear in front of Yi Xiwen. We need to join hands and kill him. Otherwise, none of us will survive. Old Freak Een shouted violently. His hands morphed into ghost claws, scratching towards Yi Xiwen right away. But at this time, he suddenly discovered that Scarlet Thunder Immortal did not follow up. On the contrary, she flew towards the distance and fled away. He almost understood it at once, that Scarlet Thunder Immortal had no intention to fight Yi Xiwen till the death. It was his wishful thinking from beginning to end. He was even treated as the meat shield to block Yi Xiwen off. Scarlet Thunder Immortal took advantage of what had happened to escape. Bitch, I won't let you go. At this time, he was gloomy and mad. He hated Scarlet Thunder Immortal to the guts, even more than Yi Xiwen. If Yi Xiwen and Scarlet Thunder Immortal were put together as choices, he would definitely choose to kill Scarlet Thunder Immortal first. The wild goose pecked the hunter's eyes one. He did not have the same idea as Scarlet Thunder Immortal even at the beginning. However, after learning about Yi Zaiwen's speed, he realized that it wouldn't work. If he did not put up a desperate fight, he had no chance to survive. Hence, instead of waiting to die, it was better to make a gamble. That was the reasoning of why he joined forces with Scarlet Thunder Immortal. But who knows, Scarlet Thunder Immortal actually cheated him. In just a few moments, Scarlet Thunder Immortal had run far away. She was out of the visible range of a naked eye. He was aggrieved, but Yi Xiwen didn't give him too much time to dwell in his emotions. The slash had already approached. The fiery saber aura absorbed the heat waves in the air. It appeared like a ball of flame, which grew stronger and stronger and finally blasted down. Boom! At this time, Old Freak Een finally felt the aggrieved feeling other people felt when facing Yi Xiwen. He was not as fast as Yi Xiwen, nor as strong as Yi Zaiwen's body. There was no way to fight. It was a dead end. Puff! Despite the first clash, he felt as if he were already exhausted after a long fight. The horrible energy ran wildly in his body. A mouthful of blood spurted fiercely. The long saber in Yi Zaiwen's hand kept slicing down. Boom! His body was like a kite with a broken string. Yi Xiwen sent him out for a distance. Most of his bones had already fallen apart. Boom! 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 One slash after another. Yi Zaiwen's saber moved at an unfathomable speed, complemented with the might of Mount Tai. Boom! At last, all the defensive martial instruments on his body and the aura barrier collapsed in an instant. He didn't have the physique of the brothers. Without the protection of the martial instruments and aura barrier, his body was blasted into a cluster of blood mist on the spot. "I'm not reconciled, bitch!" His spiteful roar still echoed in the air. It was not Yi Shiwen who was scolded at the moment he died. One could imagine how deep his hatred for Scarlet Thunder Immortal was. A Chinese idiom used to describe being bitten back by one's prey, or who they deemed to be harmless. Chapter 878. Chapter 878. Holy Realm Dwellers Mansion Center after Yi Shiwen killed Old Freaking. He wanted to chase after Scarlet Thunder Immortal. Only then did he discover that the Scarlet Thunder Immortal had run far away with no way of catching up. If Yi Shiwen went into pursuit now, he might still be able to catch up, but it would take a long time. It was also likely that he would encounter Scarlet Thunder Gang's main forces and be entangled there. This was not what Yi Shiwen hoped. As Yemo said, a large number of experts would be coming soon. By that time, leaving this place would only be wishful thinking. Just when Yi Shiwen was about to leave, the Phoenix's flame fruit tree that had already been plucked out of the Phoenix's flame fruit suddenly began to burst into flames. The monstrous fire wave directly forced Yi Shiwen out a dozen miles away. That heat wave made Yi Shiwen feel terrified. If he came near, he might be burnt to ashes on the spot. This Phoenix's flame fruit tree was so terrifying. No wonder everyone only wanted to take the Phoenix's flame fruit. No one wanted to take the Phoenix's flame fruit tree away. That would simply be courting death. In this boundless flame, Phoenix's flame fruit tree was burnt to ashes bit by bit. Fie! With a loud phoenix chirping, a fiery bird reborn from the ashes amid the boundless firelight. It rose straight into the sky with a soaring aura and disappeared directly into the sky. Yi Shiwen knew that Phoenix's flame fruit tree had left and would look for the next place to bear Phoenix's flame fruit. Then it would transform again and again until it successfully formed the Phoenix body. Soon after, the Phoenix's flame fruit tree turned into a phoenix and flew away. Yi Shiwen left and flew in the direction where the Wang family had left. Not long after Yi Shiwen left, a monstrous and blazing flame fell from the sky, and the terrifying aura spread to the surroundings. When he landed, the aura dissipated, revealing his figure. It turned out to be Crown Prince Crocodile. He glanced around with his crocodile-cold eyes. "It's the Phoenix's flame fruit tree's aura. The news is right. Phoenix's flame fruit tree was here. What a pity I was late. But why do I sense the aura of that human brat?" Crown Prince Crocodile carefully investigated the lingering aura. Despite Phoenix's flame fruit tree's flame burning everything, he could still easily distinguish many things. That human brat. He is not dead yet, and yet he dares to come over. Fine, he will die no matter if he did murder Yi Xiangtian or not. Crown Prince Crocodile looked around coldly and then disappeared again in the horizon. When Yi Shiwen found the Wang family again, it was hundreds of miles away. The Wang family's party did not go far. They had been waiting for Yi Shiwen hundreds of miles away. Seeing Yi Zaiwen's emergence, everyone in the Wang family was overjoyed. At that time, when they saw Yi Shiwen joining the battle for Phoenix's flame fruit, they were somewhat worried. However, Yi Shiwen had already joined the battle. Even if they were worried, they were helpless with it. As a matter of fact, the competitors were ruthless experts in this sea region, especially Scarlet Thunder Immortal of Scarlet Thunder Gang. She ranked in the top 100 among the young experts. For the young masters in the Wang family, Scarlet Thunder Immortal was an expert who soared high in the sky. "Brother Yi, are you okay?" consoled Wang Mingyu. "I'm fine." Yi Shiwen shook his head. As he spoke, he took out a phoenix's flame fruit from Tianyuan mirror and threw it to Wang Mingyu. Wang Mingyu took the phoenix's flame fruit. Her beautiful eyes looked at it inexplicably. This is definitely Phoenix's flame fruit. Not bad. She will not admit it. It's just that she didn't expect that she could still get Phoenix's flame fruit. This is Phoenix's flame fruit, let alone them. Even a master who surpasses Transcendent Realm will be crazy when they see Phoenix's flame fruit. Yi Shiwen might grab one or two. This was all in her expectation. After all, Yi Shiwen had already shown his strength before they left. This was not too surprising. However, what was unexpected for him was Yi Shiwen would actually give them one Phoenix's flame fruits. You deserve it. Yi Shiwen smiled. If he only grabbed one, he would naturally keep it for himself. Since he had 5 Phoenix's flame fruits, so naturally he didn't mind giving them one. This is too expensive. We really don't know what to say, said Wang Mingyu. Although they did discover the fruit tree, they were eliminated from the contest long ago. They had nothing to say even if Yi Shiwen didn't give it to them. This was a world where strength comes first. It's fine. It's just a Phoenix's flame fruit. After all, we still have to continue exploring together, right? Yi Shiwen said with a smile, Since brother Yi gave it to us, we won't refuse it any more. It will be meaningless, said Wang Feiyun. Well then, the Wang family young master is in your favor, said Wang Mingyu. After Wang Mingyu accepted the Phoenix's flame fruit, Yi Shiwen and the Wang family finally set off again. Yi Shiwen had a map in hand, which made it much easier. However, there were others beside Yi Shiwen who had a map in hand. Yi Shiwen went to a few places marked in the map. He discovered that someone had already looted the places. Treasures were all ransacked. Yi Shiwen could only give up in regret. Of course, not all things had been raided. There were also cases where Yi Shiwen arrived first while the other forces had not visited yet. In general, due to the maps, most of these treasures were harvested already. Brother Yi, on this map, there is a place marked with exclamation. It will only open for the 3 days in the middle of the month. Coincidentally, we're in the middle of the month, commented Wang Feiyun. Yi Shiwen didn't hide the map from the Wang family, since it was unnecessary. Yi Shiwen even showed them the map. In this kind of team, it was better to hear everyone's opinion. Yi Shiwen suddenly remembered and said, The Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion? Although this area was considered Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion, the map indicated that it was still the outskirt area of Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion. The actual Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion lay deep in this land in the center. Yi Shiwen even suspected that this might be the gate of a certain huge force. They were only at the gate. The actual Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion should be the garrison base of this sect. Yi Shiwen thought it through. They had visited all the places marked on the map, and they had basically explored them thoroughly. Basically, those treasures either fell into the hands of Yi Shiwen or ended up in the hands of other people with maps. Yi Shiwen basically hadn't gained much, except for Phoenix's flame fruit. He only had some fairly good herbal pellets that were relatively rare in the outside world. But it was not something of much value for Yi Shiwen. Hence, he sold part of it to Wang Mingyu, earning 2 million spirit crystals. This made his trip still fruitful. Yi Shiwen felt spending 15 million to buy the map was worth it, all in all due to the Phoenix's flame fruit's harvest. Even getting just one Phoenix's flame fruit made it worthwhile. At this time, judging from the area marked on the map, this was the only area that was not explored yet. The Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion was in the center. Since it was previously not opened, no one adventures there. With the opening of the mansion approaching already, they would need to visit the place. Those who had maps in their hands had probably gathered all in one spot. Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion was the most crucial part of the trip. In places that were not marked on the maps, there might be treasures. However, the problem was that a gradual one-by-one exploration would waste a lot of time, which was the factor lacking for this exploration. Yi Shiwen even needed to avoid the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan who might come. That's right. This is the place. We've all searched around here. We should not miss any great treasure," said Wang Feiyun. Yi Shiwen also prospected that the Holy Realm Dweller's mansion would not be open forever. His time might only be 1 month. After 1 month, the Holy Realm Dweller's mansion would close again and disappear. If they remained in the Holy Realm Dweller's mansion when it was closed, they would be locked inside. As for when they could leave, it was unknown. No one knew when Holy Realm Dweller's mansion would be open next time. Based on the information in the map, this opening should not be the first time. Otherwise, no maps would surface. Only that they didn't know when was the previous opening. It could be numerous years ago. Yi Shiwen nodded. After making up their minds, Yi Shiwen and the Wang family began to move toward the center of the barren land. As they got closer and closer to the center, Yi Shiwen realized that more and more experts were moving towards this area. Not only those experts who have got the map, but also experts including many individual cultivators. As if they had received news, all began to move closer to this area. Soon Yi Shiwen and others rushed to the most central mountain gate of Holy Realm Dweller's mansion. It was among the mountain range. The only thing everyone could see was a huge palace standing on the top of the mountain, but this palace was surrounded by clusters of flames. According to the map, unless it was when the Holy Realm Dweller's mansion opened, it would always be surrounded by flames. Chapter 879. Chapter 879. Encirclement. As the opening time of Holy Realm Dweller's mansion approached, the flames here weakened little by little until the place became accessible. By the time Yi Shiwen arrived, hundreds of people were there already. After another hour, the whole place was heavily crowded. Obviously, it was not just those who have the map that got the news. Some individual cultivators and lone warriors also got the news that the Holy Realm Dweller's mansion was about to open through various means. When we head in, stick closely with me. I don't know what lies within this Holy Realm Dweller's mansion. We must be careful, said Yi Shiwen to the Wang family. Everyone in the Wang family nodded their heads. There were many experts around them. If they didn't stick tightly with Yi Shiwen, they stood no chance at all. It was their paramount priority to stick tight with Yi Shiwen. Suddenly, Yi Shiwen noticed the sunny bamboo chamber of commerce, not far away. Yao Qian took the lead. She stood there like a muse. Many surrounding cultivators gazed at her, but no one dared to approach her. Everyone knew that this muse in front of them was a successful woman. The most intimidating factor was her relationship with Unparalleled Sword. Unparalleled Sword was one of the strongest warriors among the younger generation. Even older generations' experts were unmatched to him. Just the words Unparalleled Sword would strike fear on people. But then Yi Shiwen saw a few rather unkind gazes. It was none other than the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan's experts. Yi Ying, who was leading the clan, stared at Yi Shiwen and the Wang family viciously. Yi Shiwen secretly regretted miscalculation. He was thinking about what to do next. The flames began to weaken. Someone shouted. Everyone's attention was instantly drawn over. Sure enough, the flames surrounding the entire palace began to weaken bit by bit. Soon, the intensity dropped more than half. When it was about 1/3 of its initial intensity, and everyone was still waiting for the flame to finally go out, they heard an extremely domineering voice. Unparalleled Sword, do you dare to charge in now? Before the words were over, a tall figure jumped out. This person was no one else but the Crown Prince Crocodile, a vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan. At this time, Crown Prince Crocodile launched himself into the air and plunged directly into the flames. At the moment his body was in contact with the flames, a water barrier suddenly appeared and wrapped him in the sky. He stopped the flame outside of his water barrier. It was obviously a martial instrument. Why don't I dare? Almost after Crown Prince Crocodile, a figure quickly jumped out. He utilized his sword aura, opening a path among the flame. A sharp weapon seemed to cut the monstrous fire wave into half in an instant. A figure launched directly into the flames. Everyone heaved a heavy sigh. The flames here were still more than 10 feet high, so they couldn't rush in at all. If someone were to rush in blatantly just now, they would be burned alive into charcoal. Since many people arrived at different time periods, there was still a crowd not knowing what had happened. They rushed directly into the flames, meeting their demise. They were burned directly into charcoal. Originally, they didn't put this flame in their eyes. Since the martial artist had ascended after Truth Realm, they could self-regenerate and do many things that he could not do before. Diving into water or fire was not a big problem. However, this flame was different. Even the Transcendent Realm experts equipped with Aura Barrier would be burned into charcoal. These two people actually broke indirectly. Although they didn't know what technique they used, it was shocking enough for everyone. But before everyone continued to sigh, they heard a murderous voice coming from not far away. "Brat, you are not dead yet? You still dare to appear here. It seems that you are really getting impatient." The person who spoke was Ying, who originally thought he could not catch up with Yi Shiwen, so he could only let Yi Shiwen go. Who knew that Yi Shiwen had appeared again now? It was a godsend opportunity for him. Yi Shiwen was seeking his own death. Fancy finding by sheer luck what Ying had searched for far and wide. It took no effort. "Wait a minute. Stay away from me." Yi Shiwen immediately sent voice transmission to everyone in the Wang family. Everyone in the Wang family looked at Yi Shiwen and then didn't speak. This might be the best way at this time. Indeed, if they appeared to be familiar with Yi Shiwen, they might end up worsening Yi Zaiwen's situation. They wouldn't be of any help at all. "You dare to kill my vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan members. You are courting death." Then, Ying strode towards Yi Shiwen arrogantly. He did not bat an eye on Yi Shiwen at all. "Go. Kill him. I want him to die without a place to be buried," shouted Ying coldly. At this moment, the 8 vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan's young experts behind him and Bai Chen all rushed towards Yi Shiwen in an instant. All of them were Transcendent Realm 5th level experts. Bai Chen and Ying were Transcendent Realm 5th level peak. Their figures almost tore the air. The fastest one was Bai Chen like a green lightning. He instantly rushed in front of Yi Shiwen. The saber in his palm appeared, drawing a dangerous arc in the sky, thrusting directly toward Yi Zaiwen's throat. It was like a cold-blooded warrior in the dark. People would shudder in fear facing him. In his reptile eyes, there was an icy glitter. Dang! There was a loud metal collision noise. Yi Shiwen threw out his fist to withstand the fatal blow, but the tremendous power pushed him back. After Bai Chen, several terrifying attacks blasted at him, almost like a shadow. Those few vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan, Transcendent Realm 5th level experts, jointly blasted out a huge crocodile condensed by water. The crocodile opened its mouth directly at Yi Shiwen. Being able to condense such terrifying water under such dry conditions, it was conceivable that these vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan experts were powerful. Even if they were not as good as Ying, they should not be underestimated. Boom! At the critical moment, Yi Shiwen avoided the blow. The vicious crocodile directly hit a mountain peak, directly blasting the mountain peak into pieces. What followed was Yi Ying's offense. Yi Ying grabbed forward, drawing a huge claw which covered the half of the sky. The attack swooshed toward Yi Shiwen. The entire sky was like a wrinkled cloth. The space was constantly in distortion, boiling with energy. Boom! At the very moment, Yi Shiwen was still able to avoid this fatal claw attack. However, the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan experts had surrounded him. When the people around saw vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan's experts teaming up to encircle Yi Shiwen, they all stopped paying attention to the palace. Many people knew the grievances between Yi Shiwen and the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan. This kid is really seeking death. He even dares to show up under the chase of the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan. The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan in the sea region around this area could be regarded as fierce and mighty. They would never miss their target. Therefore, it was a miracle for ordinary people to escape. No one would dare to come back. They would only flee from this sea region as far as they could, leaving the region under vanishing, shadow, poisonous crocodile clan's influence. From this perspective, Yi Shiwen could indeed be considered audacious. Brat, where else can you go? Yi Ying looked at Yi Shiwen with a grim face. He now finally understood why Yi Shiwen was able to escape from Bai Chen's chase. Bai Chen couldn't even catch him. His speed was indeed extremely fast. Although Yi Shiwen had been able to kill the Transcendent Realm 5th level Peaks warrior, he was still having difficulty facing the Transcendent Realm 5th level opponent. Not to mention the existence of two terrifying figures in the Transcendent Realm 5th level peak, Yi Ying and Bai Chen. Anyone with this strength could rank high among the younger generation of experts. They should not be underestimated. If it were not for Yi Shiwen having demon wings, which boosted his speed, the Transcendent Realm 5th level experts could behead him. Yi Shiwen, be careful! Yi Emo reminded. The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan's Transcendent Realm 5th level experts cooperated with each other very well. They had cooperated for countless years, after all. This attack blocked off all Yi Zaiwen's escape route. Facing vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan's tight pursuit, Yi Shiwen evaded several waves of attacks in a row. The space he could move was getting smaller and smaller. He was almost forced into a dead end. Yi Shiwen could only gritted his teeth and shouted, "Fight!" The demon wings behind Yi Shiwen fanned immediately. His figure turned into a cluster of golden light. No, he wants to break through the encirclement. Stop him! Shouted Yi Ying immediately. However, what he never anticipated was that Yi Shiwen had successfully escaped. His escape route was not in any of their directions, but the palace surrounded by flames. Although the flame weakened a lot by this time, it was still enough to burn people into charcoal. Chapter 880. Chapter 880. Burning corpse. What the hell? Did he rush in? Everyone was dumbfounded after witnessing Yi Shiwen disappear entirely in the monstrous fire waves. There were casualties, even for Transcendent Realms experts. They were burned to ashes at the moment they went in. Did he go mad? But soon, everyone managed to think of the reasons, after looking over at the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan who almost went in. They all understood Yi Zaiwen's action. Rather than getting killed by the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan, rushing into the monstrous fire waves would offer a chance to survive. Despite this, very few people dared to do this. One might end up burned into ashes. Unparalleled sword and crown prince crocodile could easily rush in, but not everyone could achieve what others accomplished. Crown Prince Crocodile and unparalleled sword were way over the crowd's caliber. He is seeking death. After the initial shock, Yi Ying sneered. In his opinion, Yi Shiwen rushing in was no different from suiciding. In his view, the outcome was better since it saved his effort. That's great. Saves my trouble. Everyone listens. We will immediately rush in after the flame goes out. Yes. The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan experts nodded one after another. Although their strengths were almost the same, they obviously couldn't be compared with the promising young star in vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan Ying. The status gap was quite big. Will brother Yi be fine? When everyone in the Wang family saw Yi Shiwen rush into the flames, they seemed frightened. It was no ordinary flame. If one rushed in like this, the person would be burned to ashes. It's fine. If brother Yi has no confidence, he will never rush in, said Wang Mingyu calmly. Although Yi Shiwen was dead in everyone's eyes, she just believed in Yi Shiwen. Although her interaction with Yi Shiwen wasn't much, Yi Shiwen had always been able to create miracles. He went beyond everyone's expectations every time and resolved the danger. Every time many people thought that Yi Shiwen would not make it, Yi Shiwen always turned the situation around unexpectedly. The moment Yi Shiwen passed through the flames, he immediately summoned the Tianyuan mirror. The golden divinity instantly covered his whole body. Tyrant Golden Body was activated instantly, wrapping him up. Yi Shiwen realized that he still underestimated the terrifying flames by many levels. Almost at the moment he passed through, the flame even burned within his body. It burned directly on his body. In an instant, it burned through the outermost scarlet barrier supported by the Tianyuan mirror. Boom! The blood-colored mirror collapsed on the spot. Immediately after that, the flame burned on his golden-clad body. Only crackling sounds remained. Every drop of golden divinity was untainted, powered by divine chants. However, it was burnt into nothingness. The deity world within it collapsed immediately. The divinity did not hold on for much time and was burned through in an instant. After penetrating divinity, the flame instantly burned on Yi Zaiwen's body. Zizi! Yi Shiwen could hear the sizzling sound. An unbearable pain came from the skin. The pain that made people convulse caused Yi Zaiwen's body to tremble. His tyrant body did not alleviate the burning. It was evident that the power of the Holy Realm was almighty. Boom! Yi Shiwen rushed out of the flames. He plucked into the floor. His impact created a cobweb-like pit on the cordiorite slab. The cracks extended in a wide distance. Yi Shiwen soon got hold of himself. The unbearable pain finally ended. He was drenched with cold sweat. Yi Shiwen had experienced so many battles that it was uncountable. It was common for him to sustain injuries. He had great mental endurance towards pain. Despite that, he frowned his brows tightly due to the immense pain just now. He did not have such an experience for a long time. After checking his situation a little bit, he smiled bitterly. Even if the process was not long, he suffered a severe injury. This was an unprecedented situation. Even after leaving the wall of fire, the flames were still active within him, firmly attached to his body like maggots. But fortunately, after leaving the wall of fire, there would be no continuous flames on his upper body. He could also calmly eliminate all the flames on his body and then heal his injuries. For others, this kind of injury was too extreme. In Yi Zaiwen's case with the Phoenix regeneration technique, it was nothing at all. Before he could start his treatment, he heard an angry roar from not far away. Yi Shiwen saw a fiery red corpse standing up from the ground. It appeared to be burning. Yi Shiwen took a deep breath. He could encounter such a bizarre corpse here. Strictly speaking, the opponent was a type of zombie. This kind of special zombie only spawned in a unique environment. The zombie spawned in this extreme environment was even more terrifying than the typical zombie. The burning corpse looked at Yi Shiwen coldly. Killing intent surged on those red eyes. Yi Shiwen was surprised that his left shoulder was chopped off. It was a neat cut. Yi Shiwen almost deducted a sword expert made such a cut. Looking at the brand new wound, Yi Shiwen knew it must be the unparalleled sword. At this time, the unparalleled sword was the only possible person passing by here. Yi Shiwen couldn't help but take a deep breath. Unparalleled sword cultivation was mighty, going beyond the level of all people Yi Shiwen knew. The old man who made him imitate the sword might surpass the unparalleled sword. However, the person had long perished already. It was merely out of comparison. There was no trace of a large-scale battle here. In other words, Crown Prince Crocodile and unparalleled sword had passed by here in a short time. However, Yi Shiwen did not dare to underestimate this fiery corpse. There was an iron sword of unknown age behind the fire corpse, as if rusted, suddenly floated. Chong! The long sword instantly seemed to be on fire with a loud metal clang, engulfed by a circle of flames. These flames were like fire dragons, driving the long sword to make a clash. This burning sword was swift. It approached Yi Shiwen in an instant. Dang! A long fiery saber appeared in Yi Zaiwen's hand, parrying the approaching burning sword. It's the sword maneuver technique. Yi Shiwen squinted his eyes. This martial art was lost for many years. Eons ago, this martial art had a colorful history. The sword maneuver technique was a martial art that almost every sword practitioner must learn. However, it was lost in a long history. Few people knew it. Typically, it was only for the show with no practicality to it. The accurate technique was long gone. This place goes just like the prediction. It's a sex base. Yi Shiwen squinted his eyes. His hands were a little numb. Pain came in like surging tides. No matter what type of zombie, and no matter what kind of person the zombie was, its physique would grow tremendously once becoming a zombie. It would not be a problem for Yi Shiwen in the peak state, but now a large portion of his muscles was burnt and had not recovered. Every muscle activation brought unbearable and heart-piercing pain. Yi Shiwen thought previously that this might be the remains of a sect, but what shocked him was what kind of battle would make such a sect entirely full. From the phoenix's flame, fruit, and treasured herbs, Yi Shiwen could tell that the sect that existed long ago in this place would be strong. Otherwise, the legendary phoenix flame fruit tree would not be found in this place. But at this time, Yi Shiwen had to deal with the approaching burning corpse, no matter what, before healing his wounds. He extracted the divinity in his body again, wrapping his body in it. The fiery saber aura in his hand instantly split out. Boom! 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 The saber aura in Yi Zaiwen's hand and the iron sword clashed multiple times. Sparks splashed everywhere, setting off heat waves to the surrounding. Yi Shiwen wouldn't be able to take down the burning corpse capable of sword maneuver technique in a short time. He decided that he shouldn't stall any longer. His injury did not allow him to continue further. Moreover, the flames outside would dissipate sooner or later. Once the Vanishing Shadow poisonous crocodile clan's experts came in, they would launch another pursuit which would be fatal to Yi Shiwen. Thinking of this, Yi Zaiwen's eyes glimmered. The fiery saber aura in his hand became more intense. Chapter 881. Chapter 881. Recovery. Yi Shiwen made up his mind to end the battle quickly. He did not hold in any longer. The fiery saber aura in his hand grew many folds in an instant. In this environment, the wood burning saber technique was super effective. Boom! 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 Yi Shiwen delivered slashes one after another. Each devastating blow was as fast as lightning. The burning corpse retreated many steps by the bombardment. Soon it went frenzy, but it did not change the situation in any slight. The burning corpse could only watch itself suppressed with no way to retaliate. Yi Shiwen was indeed seriously injured, but the burning corpse was in the same situation. The upper left part of the corpse was mutilated. Its figure seemed a little bit crooked. Otherwise, it would have been slashed to death long ago already. Its injury was not only severe, it could even be more serious than Yi Shiwen. The corpse was trembling in the face of Yi Shiwen, a freak who overpowered opponent with sheer strength. Even after becoming a burning corpse, it did not have much intelligence. It kept roaring savagely. Bang! Yi Shiwen once again parried the approaching iron sword, revealing an opening to tackle the burning corpse. It's now. Yi Zaiwen's eyes were cold. After many battles, his battle intuition had reached a terrifying level. Boom! Countless chi power and spiritual energy condensed crazily in Yi Zaiwen's hand. They gathered at a terrifying speed. Under the special resonance, a chi bomb was formed. Yi Shiwen could sense that 1/10 of his chi was drawn in an instant, giving an abnormal feeling of emptiness. This demon chi bomb grew bigger and bigger. It had the size of a cannonball in his hand. Hula! The spirit bomb streaked across the sky, drawing a huge trace in the sky, and slammed on the burning corpse. Boom! The entire palace was under a crazy earthquake. a small mushroom cloud slowly rose up. Under the shock wave coming from the terrible explosion, the burning corpse, which had sustained fatal damage, immediately disintegrated on the spot. Huff! 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 Yi Shiwen was breathing heavily. The demon chi bomb just now consumed 1/10 of his Buddhist chi. It exhausted him quite a bit. At the same time, it had great destructive power. This was the first time Yi Shiwen used it after learning the technique. This technique was his trump card. If the situation did not develop into this stage, he would not use it. After all, it would no longer be a secret once it was used. Since no one else was around, he felt comfortable with exposing it. This technique was robust, but it consumed a lot too. When there was a need for this technique, it was already the do-or-die moment. The winner of the battle would be decided. This burning corpse was crushed to pieces by his demon chi bomb, utterly eradicated with nothing remaining. Yi Shiwen took a short break. He immediately spread out his demon wings, flew out, and rushed into the palace. After entering the palace, Yi Shiwen discovered this place was clustered with palaces. Only one of the palaces could be seen outside, but the remaining palaces were either deep in the mountain range or extended towards the underground in one particular direction. Yi Shiwen spread out his spiritual senses, covering every inch of the palaces. There were burning corpses wandering everywhere. They seemed to be alerted due to Crown Prince Crocodile and unparalleled sword breaking in. Yi Shiwen could only keep avoiding these burning corpses' scope of activities. With the help of convergence martial art, his presence was fully masked. As a matter of fact, these zombies were sensitive to the living human's aura. If they smelled the aura of ordinary humans, they would rush over frenziedly. Yi Shiwen cussed Crown Prince Crocodile an unparalleled sword secretly in his heart. Both of them were fine, but they alerted the burning corpses all over the palace. Yi Shiwen could only suffer the bitter end. Inside a remote palace, boom! Fiery long saber split a roaring burning corpse in half. Yi Shiwen kept panting heavily. After all the battles, it took a heavy toll on his body. His injuries were only temporarily stabilized. These burning corpses were difficult to deal with. There were zombies, corpse poison, and flames fire poison. Once any of it was stained on the cloth, it would be troublesome. It was the last moving corpse in the side palace. It was moderate in strength, reaching the transcendent realm level. Looking at the layout, it should be an alchemy side hall. Unfortunately, the floor was filled with dumped pill furnaces and pellet bottles. This place seemed to be raided a long time ago. But Yi Shiwen didn't care. At this time, he just wanted to have a quiet place where he could recover his injuries. After making sure there were no more inactive corpses, Yi Shiwen directly released the Tianyuan mirror and shrouded the entire side hall to prevent the auras from leaking. Similarly, it served to prevent the wandering burning corpses from entering abruptly. Yi Shiwen sat cross-legged in a lotus position. He started to recover his injuries. Even with Phoenix regeneration technique, he struggled to do so. He could only suppress his injury once again. Yi Shiwen did not know the flame's origin. It seeped itself so deep like a maggot, which kept burning from within. The strangest thing was that even the chis were burnt. The abundance of chi in Yi Zaiwen's body had become the fuel of the burning. Bye. It was a faint chirp of a phoenix coming from Yi Zaiwen's body. Behind him, the phantom of a phoenix appeared, flapping its wings continuously as if to break the shackles and head straight for the sky. The Phoenix regeneration technique continuously suppressed the flame within Yi Zaiwen's body. At the same time, Tyrant Body Scripture and Observing Person Scripture were activated, expelling this flame. However, his efforts in expelling the flame was futile. Yi Shiwen became anxious. He could only form a stalemate with this flame at best. It was almost impossible to completely suppress it. Yi Shiwen, swallow the Phoenix's flame fruit. Phoenix's flame fruit can strengthen your physique and bring your resilience to a higher level. If you swallow Phoenix's flame fruit, you can definitely overwhelm this fire in one fell swoop. Yi Mo advised quickly. Yi Xuan thought it through. Indeed, Phoenix's flame fruit itself could improve the user's physique, allowing him to have a physique like a phoenix. It would complement the Phoenix regeneration technique. After all, it also provided the ability to recover like a phoenix. It was just that one was a technique while the other improved the physique directly. Thinking of this, Yi Xuan quickly took out the Phoenix's flame fruit and swallowed it. Scarlet's Phoenix's flame fruit melted in the mouth immediately. Within his body, it turned into a small phoenix. This phoenix seemed to have intelligence. It immediately began to move in his body. The injuries on Yi Zaiwen's body, where the phoenix passed by, were healed immediately. As the little phoenix circulated around his body, his injury was getting better. Yi Xuan was overjoyed at once. However, he soon discovered that with the addition of this little phoenix, the Phoenix regeneration technique in Yi Zaiwen's body suddenly became excited. The Phoenix regeneration technique absorbed most of the energy in this little phoenix, rendering nothing left for his body. Yi Xuan could sense that the Phoenix regeneration technique, which was stagnant for a long time, had started to advance bit by bit. Although the extent to it was not big, Yi Xuan could feel it vividly. He was overjoyed and didn't stop the process. If he wanted to suppress this fire, he had to rely on the Phoenix regeneration technique. The stronger the Phoenix regeneration technique, the faster he would recover. Naturally, he wanted that to continue. As the little phoenix circulated Yi Zaiwen's body, the little phoenix shrunk little by little. The phoenix's flame, fruit's essence, was gradually absorbed. Seeing that this phoenix's flame fruit was able to improve the Phoenix regeneration technique, Yi Xuan did not hesitate any further. He simply took out the remaining 3 phoenix's flame fruits and swallowed them. In the eyes of outsiders, this was simply a waste because Phoenix's flame fruit had the best effect at the first consumption. The remainder had limited effect. At this time, it would be better to sell the remaining Phoenix's flame fruits, but Yi Xuan thought otherwise. The Phoenix regeneration technique was his foundation. He cheated death many times by relying on the Phoenix regeneration technique. Without this Phoenix regeneration technique, his adventure would be already over. As long as the Phoenix regeneration technique could be advanced, he could bear consuming the rare Phoenix's flame fruits. Sure enough, right after Yi Xuan swallowed all the 4 Phoenix's flame fruits, the Phoenix regeneration technique in Yi Zaiwen's body began to improve little by little, advancing in an unfathomable level. Yi Zaiwen's body went through a gradual transformation. The tyrant body had now begun to advance in another direction, which was completely different from tyrant body. Yi Xuan could also feel that as the energy of Phoenix's flame fruit was continuously absorbed, the fire in his body was suppressed little by little. Eventually, the fire did not constitute a threat. His Phoenix regeneration technique also regained the upper hand. Chapter 882. Chapter 882. Conquer the mutated flame. Most importantly, Yi Xuan discovered that his physique was also advancing into a more vigorous physique, which surprised him. In fact, since entering Sage Realm, Yi Zaiwen's physical transformation had not stopped. During Sage Realm, it had transformed to the most perfect state. It could only be strengthened in the future, but no more transformation would take place. This was the law of nature. It happened to every other race and clan. After Sage Realm, the physical body was already perfected. It was bound by nature. In Sage Realm, every level signified the process of perfecting the physical body. No one had a way to perfect the physical body any further after Sage Realm. Although their physical body was already perfected, there were still differences. For example, even if human races ascended to physical body perfection, it was difficult to contend with the imperfect dragon race. This was an inborn disadvantage that efforts could hardly make up of. Tyrant body scripture was an outlier. It was a powerful martial technique that could alter the inborn limitations. Yi Shiwen discovered that his body steered away from humankind gradually. The integration of the Star Beast bloodline and Tyrant body made him stronger in the physique aspect. Compared to the Tyrant Bodis physical strengthening, the Star Beast bloodline was more comprehensive. It even reached the spirit level. Some characteristics of Star Beast manifested too. In comparison with the Earth in the previous life, it was like imparting animal genes into the human body, thus possessing the abilities of those animals. Meanwhile, the change this time was unlike the sheer strength of Tyrant body, but more of a supplementary effect. Yi Shiwen could sense his physique approaching that of a phoenix. This physique raised Yi Shiwen in the aspect of recovery and physical resistance. In other words, the injury that would take a month for Yi Shiwen to recover would only take half a month now. Phoenix regeneration technique brought about this unprecedented change. A sage technique that was merely meant for recovery seemed to experience mutations under the phoenix's flame fruit stimulation. It broke the shackles of being a recovery technique to something else that altered the physical body. Is this possibly a more advanced form of the Phoenix regeneration technique? Yi Shiwen didn't know either. Previously, he felt that the Phoenix regeneration technique seemed to have reached its extreme, a bottleneck. There would be no way to improve it, so Yi Shiwen didn't pay much attention to it either. It formed an impression that it was a sage recovery technique. But now it turned out that the situation was completely different. The Phoenix regeneration technique seemed to have entered a whole new level under the effect of Phoenix's flame fruit. It could even transform Yi Zaiwen's body. Could Yi Shiwen possess the same body like a phoenix, having the physique capable of being reincarnated from death? This was the first term that Yi Shiwen thought of. For Phoenix, Yi Zaiwen's perception was the same as everyone else. It had the ability to be reborn after death. Not only could the phoenix be reborn from death, but ascension took place every time it was reborn. This was what moved Yi Shiwen the most. Even though the possibility was slim, Yi Shiwen enjoyed the current benefits already. As Yi Zaiwen's physique changed little by little, he found that the flames within his body could not hurt him any further. Rather, he felt a sense of intimacy towards the flame. It was as if Yi Shiwen could mobilize these flames. Did I acquire fire resistance? It rang like a bell in Yi Zaiwen's mind. According to the legend, the phoenix was the origin of fire. It was possible that since his physique had become similar to a phoenix, he had control over fire. Thinking of this, Yi Shiwen couldn't help but get a little excited. Those races became elite due to their inborn talents, which humankind could not match up to. They were the favored son of heaven, according to the folks. In comparison to these elites, humankind only had a number advantage, but nothing else, especially to those with a unique physique. Many of them had ancient bloodlines, though there weren't anything special to those authentic ones. For example, Titan body bloodline was merely a denomination and something inferior to the actual Titan. In this respect, human beings did not have any advantage, but there were things where human beings could leverage on. The ability to grasp new knowledge rapidly. With that, humans only needed 100 years of cultivation to reach the same level, which required other races' cultivation up to 1,000 years. Though, the other races typically had longevity up to 10,000 years. God seemed to be fair in this case. But there was no doubt that if he awakened some of Phoenix's inborn talents in addition to the existing Star Beast's bloodline power, then his strength would exceed far beyond the natural law. The ultimate goal of his tyrant body training was to reach divine hood, being able to contend with other blessed races. Once Yi Shiwen became one of the blessed races, he would be at a different caliber. Those who dissed on inborn talents were usually people who were jealous. Everyone wished their inborn talent to be superior than the others, so they wouldn't need to struggle so much. Some people thought the lack of experience would make one fall short. There was even a saying that beings with blessed talents would be incomparable to those who struggled. they would not be able to achieve great accomplishments. In reality, only one among 10,000s of ordinary people could achieve something. In comparison, it would only take probably 1 out of 100 outstanding talents to achieve great feats. Thus, Tyrant Body Scripture was created to match up to those with superior talents. The existing inborn gaps should be acknowledged. There were those talents willing to gain experience too. Yi Shiwen, if you really can acquire the physique of a phoenix, then you've hit a jackpot. Yi Mo's voice also began to tremble, among the top clans in numerous worlds and realms. Little clans could stand shoulder to shoulder with Phoenix. Your future's path will be much smoother. It's a blessing in disguise. This Phoenix's flame fruit may evolve your Phoenix regeneration technique, making your physique gradually closer to that of a phoenix. Yi Mo knew Phoenix's flame fruit was not the sole credit. Phoenix's flame fruit just offered some characteristics of Phoenix physique, making their regeneration stronger than ordinary people. But Yi Shiwen underwent a thorough physical body transformation. This body had not experienced much change after Sage Realm. It was unlike forcefully integrating Star Beast's bloodline power. The transformation this time relied on the improvement of the Phoenix regeneration technique. Hence, time and patience was needed throughout the whole process. The changes would take place bit by bit rather than a momentary explosive growth, just like Tyrant Body Scripture. But even so, Yi Shiwen was elated. Not only would his physique change in a better direction, but his Phoenix regeneration technique had also ascended again. His first impression of Phoenix regeneration technique was that it was too simple. He had no one taught him to. Most importantly, there was no record of the various changes of the Phoenix regeneration technique on that page of ancient scripture. It was merely a simple method of cultivation. As for the other pages of the ancient scriptures, they fell into the hands of other people. Among them, Emperor Qin died in his hands. Hence, he also lost traces of it. In the other pages of ancient scriptures, Yi Shiwen didn't know what exactly was recorded. It could be a new martial art, or it might be other details of the Phoenix regeneration technique. But anyway, he learned that the Phoenix regeneration technique was far more complex than he anticipated. There was still a lot of room for improvement. Originally, he was a little baffled. Phoenix regeneration technique was only a martial technique for recovery. To what extent that the technique was graded as deity level? Although he had several deity-level martial techniques with him, he knew how precious these deity-level martial techniques were. Even for unparalleled sword and crown prince crocodile, they at most possessed a earth-level martial technique. This was also the biggest reason Yi Shiwen could challenge someone beyond his power realm. Otherwise, there were so many geniuses in the world. How could Yi Shiwen fight someone beyond his power realm easily? As Yi Zaiwen's physique continued to change, Yi Shiwen found that those fires did not become a hindrance, but something intimate. Yi Shiwen suddenly had an idea to subdue these flames and put them for his own use. These flames were terrifying. He would suffer severe damage once he got into contact. For anyone else, they would burn to death. If these mutated flames could be subdued, it would undoubtedly become Yi Zaiwen's trump card. Moreover, the phoenix itself grew in flames and rebirthed in flames. These mutated flames would become his best tonic. Similarly, the phoenix's physique would nurture these flames too, making these flames stronger. After communicating with Yi Mo about it, this idea got Yi Mo's approval. Good idea. If you can do it, it should have a complementary effect in the end. Yi Mo nodded and said, it might be a risky action for others. Doing this was similar to planting a bomb that could erupt at any time. But for Yi Shiwen, it was nothing big. Anyway, there were many weird things in his body. Having one more made no difference. It's just a mutated flame. No big deal. After making up his mind, Yi Shiwen immediately sat up and mobilized the Phoenix regeneration technique, absorbing the energy of Phoenix's flame fruit while conquering the flames. Chapter 883. Chapter 883. Transcendent Realms Second Level, with the Phoenix Regeneration Technique body and Phoenix's Flame Fruit, continuously improving Yi Zaiwen's physique. Yi Shiwen absorbs this mutated flame faster and faster. When Yi Shiwen absorbed all these flames, a long while had passed. Without the interference of these mutated flames, Yi Zaiwen's body quickly recovered to the peak. The Phoenix Regeneration Technique once again demonstrated its incredible property. This degree of injury was not a big deal to Yi Shiwen as long as the mutated flame was gone. Yi Zaiwen's palm spread out. Flames were burning on it. It constantly changed, following Yi Zaiwen's thoughts. It finally became a little phoenix, but the image was still quite vague. It would become better with Yi Zaiwen's improvement in his control towards the mutated flame. As Yi Shiwen continued to absorb the Phoenix's flame fruit's energy, Yi Shiwen discovered that other than the Phoenix Regeneration Technique that had improved, his cultivation had also been greatly improved in the process. After each breakthrough, there was the accumulation phase. This was a cyclic process. Every breakthrough lied in the foundation and adequate accumulation. That was why the disciples of the big forces were able to ascend rapidly. Those disciples, being a genius, had resources invested on them, which enabled them to ascend quickly. Resources were much more abundant, especially in the ancient Barrens continent. The realm barrier was less rigid too. Hence, there were so many transcendent realm experts who were over 100 years old and even decades old. Although Yi Shiwen did not have a great force as his backer, he was not attached. As long as he obtained resources, he could use them without any scruples. This was the basis for his rapid growth. Thinking of this, Yi Shiwen was not in a hurry to go out. If he left at this time, he might face a surprise attack by the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan's experts. Right now, his only option was to escape if he were to be in an unfortunate encounter with them. This would not end well. Rather, it was better to strive for breakthroughs before considering leaving this place. The Phoenix's flame fruit morphed for little phoenixes within Yi Zaiwen's body. They were rotating indefinitely as Yi Shiwen absorbed them gradually. His strength was also growing little by little, approaching transcendent realm first level peak patiently. Each little of improvement might not be much, but it was a steady advancement. His foundation was stronger than ever. The Phoenix's flame fruit's rich energy solidified Yi Zaiwen's foundation. 3 days passed. Many people didn't even react, but time flew. During these 3 days, Yi Shiwen could only vaguely know what happened outside. He was immersed in his own cultivation. After 3 days, his cultivation finally reached the transcendent realm first level peak in one fell swoop. He felt that there was no way to progress, so he just stopped. There was only a little bit of Phoenix's flame fruit's energy left in Yi Zaiwen's body. Originally, if it were only intended to ascend into transcendent realm first level peak, Yi Shiwen might not even be able to consume all the Phoenix's flame fruit's energy. However, his body seemed to have absorbed most of the Phoenix's flame fruit's energy. The Phoenix Regeneration Technique had absorbed part of it to evolve too. In the end, little of the energy could be utilized to nurture his cultivation. Yi Shiwen only needed a little bit more to strive for the transcendent realm's second level. Success or failure all depended on this. Yi Shiwen took a deep breath and began to mobilize the spiritual energy and qi in the body, while at the same time mobilizing the energy of Phoenix's flame fruit. 2 mighty torrents smoothly gathered together. They launched an impact towards the realm barrier into transcendent realm's second level. Waves after waves washed on the barrier. The breakthrough was uninterrupted. Although it seemed a bit hasty, Yi Shiwen was more confident with the help of Phoenix's flame fruit. Time passed by slowly under his constant challenge on the cultivation realm barrier. At the same time, on the other side of the palace clusters, many vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan experts were roaming one palace after another. Like everyone who came in, they faced the attack of the alarmed, burning corpse. Now, I don't know where the prince has gone. Otherwise, I can go to meet the prince, which saves my effort. A vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan expert said with some dissatisfaction. Although the number of them was far more than Yi Shiwen, they attracted far more burning corpses than Yi Shiwen. Even if their strength was high, they were quite annoyed in the face of these burning corpses. But the expert did not notice Ying's face suddenly became ugly when he was talking. Hints of resentment flashed in Ying's eyes. In the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan, Ying was valued second only to Crown Prince Crocodile. Crown Prince Crocodile was his most direct competitor. For him, Crown Prince Crocodile was an extremely powerful opponent. With the existence of Crown Prince Crocodile, he had not been able to get the chief's support in the clan. He was always regarded as an alternative. Many people considered this ranking not bad. After all, many members of the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan did not receive such treatment at all. On the contrary, Ying didn't think so. He was not satisfied with such treatment. For him, if there was no Crown Prince Crocodile, he would undoubtedly be the first among the younger generation. Even facing Crown Prince Crocodile, he was not intimidated. He did not feel that he was worse than Crown Prince Crocodile. He only felt that he was only born a few years later than Crown Prince Crocodile. If he and Crown Prince Crocodile were at the same age, there was room for Crown Prince Crocodile to prosper. But the clan members failed to notice this. They all think that Crown Prince Crocodile was stronger, so they favor Crown Prince Crocodile. Most importantly, Crown Prince Crocodile dared to humiliate him. Crown Prince Crocodile didn't put him in the eye. Originally, the clan arranged for the two of them to work together to find out the truth of Yi Xiangshen's death. Of course, they were tasked to seize the treasure in the Holy Realm Dweller's mansion. However, Crown Prince Crocodile completely abandoned them and went to challenge Unparalleled Sword, throwing him away to lead the team. Who does he think I am? Am I his subordinate? Thinking of this, Ying was upset. He always antagonized Crown Prince Crocodile, proving that he could do much better than Crown Prince Crocodile. Unfortunately, not many people recognized him now. Once the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan expert said this. It was like stabbing into a hornet's nest, completely irritated Ying. He was thinking on how to punish this expert, letting the expert understand how powerful he was. Suddenly, a noise came from not far away. In a side palace, burning corpses were pursuing a group of people. They were none other than the Wang family members. It turns out to be the group of humans with that kid that day. A vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan expert quickly recognized the Wang family group. When they encountered Yi Shiwen twice, the Wang family were all present twice. However, at that time, their attention was all on Yi Shiwen. They had ignored this family, letting them go. The crocodile clan expert did not expect to encounter the family again at this place. Sure enough, we aren't mistaken, said Bai Qin coldly. It just so happens that the relationship between those people and the boys is obviously unusual. Maybe it has something to do with Yi Xiangshen's death. What a good chance for us to arrest and interrogate them, said Ying coldly. Since the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan experts just so happened to be in a foul mood with no place to vent, they had somehow found themselves some toy. The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan expert, although not comparable to the attention the crown prince received in vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan, he was not an ordinary elite. He had a backer behind him. Since he was not Crown Prince Crocodile that was fully recognized by the clan as the leader, he couldn't offend everyone. He swallowed his resentment bitterly. However, the Wang family who appeared now were different. In his view, these meager humans were no big deal at all. Their death had no meaning, since they were related to Yi Xiangshen's death. That was enough to sentence them to death. Despite there was no evidence, Would the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan's experts need evidence to do things? Exactly, with the ability Soul Search, we will know if they have anything to do with Yi Xiangtian. A vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan expert said cruelly with his face full of excitement as to whether there would be any accidental injury. It was not in their consideration. In other words, it did not matter at all. No one would voice up even if a massacre took place. On the other side, everyone in the Wang family didn't know the approaching danger. At this time, they focused their attention on the burning corpse chasing after them. After this period of training, Wang Mingyu had greatly improved. She had now reached the Transcendent Realm second level peak. Her progress was not unnoticeable. Not only her, Wang Feiyun also reached the Transcendent Realm second level peak not long ago, following closely behind. Other Wang family experts had also improved. The worst one would be at Transcendent Realm first level peak. Someone a little bit better would have ascended to the Transcendent Realm second level. Their progress proved that close cultivation was not as good as personal experience. Although many dangers laid within, they had definitely gained enough benefits. For them, it was enough. Chapter 884. Chapter 884. Wang family's crisis, even if they were to leave immediately, there would be no regrets. However, the real problem was that even so, they still seemed to be too inadequate to roam this holy realm dweller's mansion. A burning corpse was enough to rather them in a mess. The burning corpses might not be as overwhelming as they were alive. Their instincts and strong physique could easily execute the strength at least at Transcendent Realm 4th level. Some even achieved the combat power of a Transcendent Realm 6th level. They once encountered a Transcendent Realm 3rd level zombie. They could feel the terrifying aura from a distance and hurriedly took a detour. But even now the Transcendent Realm 4th level zombie was roaming around. If it were just an average Transcendent Realm 4th level expert, they would have the chance to fight. After all, they had so many people. The gap was not too wide, like the gap between half-step Transcendent Realm and Transcendent Realm. But this was not the average Transcendent Realm 4 level expert. This was a zombie that went through mutation. Not only did it have zombies' corpse poison, but also fire poison within their flames. Being tainted would give many troubles. Since it had the undying body of a zombie, the flesh was comparable to metals. It was relentless, not afraid of death. That made them a foe 10 times tougher in comparison to a typical Transcendent Realm 4th level expert. As a result, the Wang family could only choose to retreat. The only way to deal with these zombies was to completely crush them with absolute strength. Of course, this was what they were lacking, resulting in them constantly fleeing. However, Wang Mingyu and Wang Feiyun had to make a few stops and jointly resist the burning corpse, so that everyone had more time to flee. Among the group, only these two were able to resist the burning corpse for a little while. Roar! The burning corpse noticed the Wang family were running farther and farther. It roared in frenzy, overwhelming the entire hall with its roar. For some reason, the burning corpse refused to leave their wandering palace too far. If this went on, everyone in the Wang family would be able to escape from the burning corpse. The burning corpse lunged forward all of a sudden. Its figure launched out abruptly like a cannonball. He bypassed Wang Mingyu and Wang Feiyun directly. The two of them were directly pushed away by a huge force. It brought them great surprise. Their aura barrier thickened by a few layers to stop the infection from corpse poison and fire poison. At this moment, the burning corpse rushed directly behind one of the Wang family's disciples, lagging behind. The corpse stretched out its dried-out, ghastly claw and made a scratch. Unexpectedly, this scratch manifested chills at the disciple's chest. A pumping heart was vividly displayed on the claw. The corpse swallowed the bloody hearty on the spot. After that, strong energy composed within the burning corpse. It made a louder roar, piercing straight to the hall's roof. The burning corpse's aura grew in intensity, it was going through ascension. Run! Wang Mingyu couldn't bother with the dead disciple. If they failed to flee, they would not have any second chances. A transcendent realm 4th level burning corpse was so terrifying already. In the face of the transcendent realm 5th level burning corpse, they simply stood no chance to survive. They would definitely be wiped out. Everyone in the Wang family was shocked, but they couldn't afford to lag behind. They ran wildly outside the hall. The figures flew out like cannonballs launched from heavy artillery, the burning corpses' terrifying roar crippling behind them. Sure enough, the burning corpse had already stepped into the transcendent realm 5th level not long after that, a level that put them in despair. After the ascension was completed, the burning corpse quickly chased out again. However, the previous time window enabled everyone in the Wang family to flee for a distance. The burning corpse failed to catch up and left. It dragged the Wang family disciple corpse and walked inside. After finally evading the chase of this burning corpse, everyone in the Wang family finally breathed a sigh of relief. The aura of the burning corpse had left their scope of detection. A disciple of the Wang family was caught alive. The corpse couldn't even be retrieved. Everyone in the Wang family was dejected. They were in a competition, usually. However, the feeling of grief still emerged. Although they were prepared for the possible deaths and injuries before they came, they were still extremely uncomfortable when such casualties occurred. Let's go home. We are basically like bugs here and get trampled to death at any time. This is not suitable for us, said a Wang family's young expert. This statement immediately resonated with the other experts of the Wang family. Although they were highly regarded in the Wang family, and even South Initiate Island, they weren't ignorant to the fact that they were no different from bugs in the Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion. When they were in the outside areas previously, they could still work it out despite the danger. Everything was still within the range they could handle. Once they entered the Holy Realm Dweller's Mansion, they found that these burning corpses were all beyond Transcendent Realm's 4th level. None of them could handle it. In this place, they were indeed bedbugs. They might be trampled to death at any second. The feeling that their life was not in their hands brushed away their sanity. At this time, everyone had only one idea, and that was to leave quickly. However, the final call depended on Wang Mingyu and Wang Feiyun. Among the younger generation of the Wang family, they led the group. Right now, Wang Feiyun did not have the desire to compete with Wang Mingyu like his usual self. When the entire team might be eradicated at any time, it was meaningless to compete with Wang Mingyu anymore. They would lose their lives at any unexpected minute. Unbeknownst to him, he had recognized Wang Mingyu was more suitable to lead the Wang family. Wang Mingyu saw that everyone was looking at her. She spoke up, "We should leave this place. We won't be able to harvest anything here. Even if we get something, the others would covet our harvest." Everyone nodded. They would either couldn't get anything or lose everything. This perception was realistic and accurate. We shouldn't delay any further. Let's go now before any troubles come up again, added Wang Feiyun. Since decisions were made, they should no longer hesitate. Where are you going? At this moment, a slightly playful voice came from not far away. Everyone in the Wang family was shocked. When they looked around, they saw the vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan experts flying towards them at an astonishing speed. The one taking the lead was Bai Qin. Bai Qin just narrowed its reptile's eyes and looked at everyone in the Wang family coldly, but Ying was not around. Originally, Ying planned to personally go out and kill these human beings to vent his anger. Before he left, he had gotten more important news. He hurriedly left. Bai Qin stayed to eradicate the Wang family. It should be a fairly simple matter. In his eyes, these Wang family's young experts possessed no threats at all. They were just a group of Transcendent Realm 1st level and 2nd level warriors. Yi Shiwen did surprise him, but he thought it was impossible to threaten him. Even so, such people were rare. There should be none like him among the Wang family. It's you. Everyone in the Wang family became tense immediately. They knew what their encounter meant. These vanishing, shadow, poisonous crocodile clan experts were malicious. Humph, humans. You're bold. Let's talk. What is the relationship between you and that kid? Are you related to Yi Xiangshan's death? Asked Bai Qin coldly. He squinted his reptile eyes. Glaring killing intent was revealed in his cold eyes. We have nothing to do with that Yi Xiangshan's death. Wang Mingyu stepped forward and said, she should not admit that they had anything to do with this. Otherwise, only immediate death awaited them. Although from the current point of view, it appeared that the crocodile clan was ill-intentioned, there was still an opening to get through it. Any slight doubt from the crocodile clan would mark their death. Even if they indeed had nothing to do with this matter, it was still troublesome. You're not related? Huh. Do you think I will believe what you said? Sneered Bai Qin. Since you don't believe it, why do you still ask? Wang Feiyun stepped forward and said angrily, this is like playing us like monkeys. Ha ha ha. The vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan experts laughed aloud abruptly. Unexpectedly, they figured it out. We're playing you all like monkeys. So what? You're just a mere human. Who are you to question us? You all are seeking death. Everyone in the Wang family had a long face. These vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan people treated them like monkeys. They were merely tools for leisure. To find out whether you're related, we just need to abduct you all and use soul search. A vanishing shadow poisonous crocodile clan expert morphed a massive hand and grabbed toward a Wang family's disciple. The disciple was caught off guard.